Good to go when you are. What's up, guys? Welcome. It is time for the last day of the Fire Easter Hunt. We're going to get right down to the action. But before we get there, of course, it's myself, Priest. We're going to be taking you through all the crazy action that is going to be unfolding on the battlefield here today. Priest, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I can see your mouth is still moving. You've been having fun. Happy Easter, by the way, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we had the Good Friday all the way back on Friday. It's a very fitting time for that. And of course, now it's time for us to take a quick look at those overall leaderboards to see where the teams are and how much work they need to try and get done here today. I love this that, we've got a little bit of Priest now just showing all the points. There we go. Team Apex sitting up on 137 points up in pole position. Ultima Rage sitting on 119. The O3 Brothers 20 points behind, but EFX hot on the heels. So I think it's going to be a pretty spicy day, especially looking at that left side of the leaderboard.
Yeah, we saw yesterday the guys from Gen X, they had a plethora of fantastic games. It was very, very impressive. They jumped all the way from, I believe that was a 13th place. Now they're in fifth. So now they're actually in contention for that first place finish, just behind the guys from Team Apex. So all of these teams now, they know for a fact that it is a final day. Every point today is going to count, and they are definitely going to do their absolute best to make it count.
Yeah, I think this is where we can say, you know what, points, lives matter. As it's going to be a very important one, but already we did see a little bit of action coming through in that feed as we have players there from Invictus dropping all the way down onto that Sosnovka military base. They got a little bit of heat coming through there as well, right? They got the players from 21st Century, we can see here now showing this drop location. And this is like what I wanted to see coming into the very last day, right? Teams really rising to the occasion, looking to add all the spice that they can find.
Yeah, talk about spices. Can I make it spicy though? 21st century. Can you do something for me? Once again, they've been actually very, very dominant when it comes to military base. This is the place I've actually familiarized myself with 21st century from. They're very, very strong in this area. We've already eliminated one of the players from Invictus, and I believe that is the first way you want to get the ball rolling if you want to make a dent on that leaderboard. Actually, that third place is not too far away. Third place finish, it is not too far away. That is money. That is easy money if you can make it happen. But then, can you make it happen? That's the real question.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the one that we're going to be looking for the answer, right? I mean, I agree, it's going to be money. I don't know if it's going to be easy money. Looking at what we've seen already, these teams, they're not going to be backing down just yet. But there is going to be that opportunity for that, maybe, to come on in. Looking at what we've got here, it's, of course, not getting lit on fire as Rogue Daddy steps through. But look at that, Power also running into the flames. This is where things now start to crumble ever so slightly for 21st Century.
Ooh, 21st century, though, getting caught out in their landing spot for that matter. Invictus not backing down at all. One Molotov for two bodies at least. But Rogue's Daddy will be super, super consistent. He has been an absolutely, fantastic player for the duration of this finals, Rogue's Daddy. He's been super, super consistent, putting the numbers up for the guys from Invictus. But now 21st Century in a little bit of a pickle here. They've lost two. Now the numbers advantage is not going to be favoring them anymore. But I still believe, because they know, how this area works, they still have a little bit of an advantage, over the guys from Invictus.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. Unless, of course, Rogue Daddy does pull a move like we saw just there, flying off of the the ceilings and the roofs and everything. I mean, I was surprised to see that they actually didn't take a lot of damage falling that distance. But either which way, if you're Spider-Man's cousin, I guess it works out. But yeah, the fighting will continue potentially, hopefully, maybe down in towards the Sosnovka military base. Meanwhile, we did see that zone, of course, taking a bit of a shift over on towards the western side, and not a lot of teams really being too hasty with their rush, right? That positioning into this next zone.
Yeah, it's not ideal for most of these teams, but I would never actually play, like that, especially those teams all the way out there in the eastern side. The play zone is all the way out there in the west, so making your rotations could get very, very tricky. You could get caught out if you start to make your rotations very, very late. And you, just like you pointed out, most of these teams have actually just been settled into their position. first phase of the circle. They're not going to take too much blue damage, but it's all about how fast you can actually get to allow the play zone that you did not plan initially, but because of how far away that play zone is, it could get very, very tricky for most of those teams, especially all the ones on that eastern side
But I'm actually looking
of the
forward to
map.
the eastern side, right? Because we've got the players from Afro there. We've got Ultima Rage. We can see the players here from Active Gaming. We also have Apex holding into the vicinity as well. So there's going to be 4 teams that are going to be looking to rotate in from this western edge. And I think that's going to result in quite a bit of carnage, hopefully, right? I'm seriously hoping that these teams find each other making that rotation, because just imagine that, Priest, right? Everyone and their friends just getting stuck on that edge of zone, pulling up into Potato Hill and just going to town.
Wow, DK, that's a lot of violence that you're promoting on this stream. I'm not sure what you're trying to do. I'm not sure what you're trying to do. That you're giving is giving a lot of violent vibes, because that eastern side that you've been looking forward to. You see, and you talked about the teams that were there: Apex, Ultima Rage, the first place team and the second place team are in the same area, so it could get very, very dangerous very, very quickly. And Apex cannot afford to slip up. They cannot afford any kind of early casualties or something that they did not prepare for or expect, especially against the guys from Ultimate Rate. It could get very, very dangerous, very, very tricky all the way out here in Milta for them. But again, they have vehicles, they have time, they have a pattern that they like to play, especially when they're making their rotations all the way in. I think they usually tend to move south into Milta and then move further south. But it could go different this time around, because it is the final day. Strategies could easily change.
100%, I agree with you with that. And now it's just down to see where the teams are going to be looking to start shaking those tables, because we've got the players here from Apex also still holding towards that Lipovka side. If we take a quick look around here, we can see that it's going to be the players from Habitual also now looking for a little bit of a play. They are relatively close to the side there of Pachinki, but Afro going to be right here on the southern edge, so there's a lot of potential just lurking around the corner.
Yeah, there's that potential, for a whole lot of plans to go awry, honestly, because all of these teams have started to make their rotations at exactly the same time. It's as if, everyone has like a playbook that they all study from or something, like just take a look at everything. Everyone is on the move. Everyone is on the move right now. Just take a look. Everyone is in vehicles, except Active Gaming and Team Apex for now, but everyone else is on the move. Let's not talk about maybe Ruthless Esports. They're chilling in Novo. They know for a fact, that nobody is going to be crossing the bridge to meet them all the way out there in that southeastern side. But every other team is on the move. EFX, everyone else, even teams that are inside of the circle right now, Afro Esports, Habitual, they are all on the move, trying to find, central positions. I believe these are those teams that love to play it a little bit more central. Habitual Gaming, one of those teams. But again, Afro Esports is not too far away. It could get very, very tricky for them as well, as Fugitive Esports will be pulling up.
Yeah, and the fugitives just hiding in the bushes. I mean, I love the way that sounds. It plays out so nicely. But now we're going to see what they're going to do with these bushes, right? Will it result in an ambush, or are they just waiting around having a few treats? They are looking over in the direction they have Habitual, so it could just be a moment before they actually maybe start these altercations. But the contention for center zone, I think, at this point could be quite essential, especially looking at fugitives, right? They've got a nice setup, but they only have 3 players. So the more they can fortify this, the better they will fare once the rest of the team start moving in.
Yeah, it all comes into play how they want to fortify this position. Fugitive Esports 3-man team, it is very, very tricky, holding this kind of compound with just 3 players, because so many blind spots, especially in this area. If the guys from Habitual Gaming smell blood in the water, or see or get all the intel that they're looking for, especially Psycho, if he can, peek into that compound there and see for a fact that the guys from Fugitive are just three, they might just decide to send it. They might just decide to pull up to the scene and see what is good for them. Active Gaming, on the other hand, first elimination for them, courtesy of TQ, but I don't know why Active Gaming are coming in as a three-man team. This is not the start I was expecting for them. I was expecting to see more aggression from Active. I mean, Fire is a big supporter of Active Gaming, so I was expecting them to want to pull up a crazy performance on the final day, into just even if it's to crack into the top six.
Yeah, I mean, we also want to see that Fire performance, right? That would just be so fitting. But in the meanwhile, we are going to be looking onto the players here from Invictus, of course, going toe-to-toe now with Gen X. We can see True has been knocked down. The rest of the team trying to maybe provide a bit of assistance here. But I like that angle being held by Lynx. I mean, that could definitely deal a very devastating blow into the side here of Invictus. And this is going to be that opportunity as Lynx now looks for the chance. Maybe trying to link up a few of those hits. Let's see if it's going to happen. Rogue's Daddy also just trying to fend off any potential advances. But look at Gen X. Priest, they're not looking to push forward just yet. First, they want to get their player up, and then maybe they'll start applying a bit of pressure.
Yeah, I think they know that the numbers advantage is in their favor right now. I think they know that Invictus is a three-man team. They were able to get a knock on Snip there, but Snip will be picked up. And Invictus now have a lot of work to do. They are going to be fighting on two separate fronts. UGX have already done that split. Freak will pull up into the warehouse there just to gather more intel. Aimbot will be rotating around just to get more intel. That's the beauty of Gen X, really, the way they play this area. I've seen them fight in this area before. I've seen them fight a couple of teams in this area, and they came out successful every single time. So that tells you they have a strategy when it comes to fighting around these areas. It could work, every single time if they have a playbook that they stick to. I believe it works, almost every single time. But Freak's position, though, it's not any element of surprise anymore. They're aware he's here. I think Lynx as well. I think they know that he's here too. So I think Invictus right now, they're cooking something in their head. Okay, this is what we're going to do right now. We do not have the numbers advantage. It's a four-man team. We're three. We need to isolate one player. We need to remove one person from the equation and have the guys from Gen X scrambling.
Ooh. Well, I mean, let's see how this one pans out as Rogue Baby just got taken on down. Sonic Fly, that is Lynx, now taking a little bit of damage as Rogue's Daddy looks to just bring in a little bit of that repayment, but the confirmation is through. Invictus now down to a two-piece. Up comes the rush. Snip gets taken on down. Rogue's Daddy super low in the health bar, and this could be that turning point now for the players of Gen X to push forward, get that squad wipe, and send Invictus backing. I mean, they've still got the numbers advantage. Now they're going to look to leverage that. Up comes Lynx. Oh, but he gets straight as the DBS comes in swinging. Up comes the next one. Aimbot falls. Now, Freak super low in that health bar. Also, it's quite a bit of trouble, but let's see whether or not True will be able to get it. Yes, they clutch it. That was a little bit too scary for the side of Gen X.
Absolutely. That was terrifying for sure. I mean, he fell all the way back, and the player to his left, I think it was Aimbot or so, was 1 HP. It could have gone very differently. It could have gone very, very differently right there. It could have turned into a 1v1 very, very quickly. That is the danger, DK, of the DBS. It is a dangerous weapon. It is scary in the hands of certain players, but man, the DBS is PTSD, surely.
But now you know why I call the DBS the don't be silly.
Don't be silly.
Right? It makes perfect sense, because if you see someone, unless you've got a UMP in your hand, don't be silly, because you're going to have a very tough time rushing in on a DBS, right? You've seen that come through in like the PMPL, where the DBS gets contested with a UMP. But yeah, it's a pretty tough one. Speaking about tough though, the Fugitives, well, they've been found out. It is going to be habitual now, trying to rush up in towards Arrow. Normal and Feist not really there to provide the necessary support, and that is going to result in Arrow now just getting, well, yeeted out of this one, and this could be the end of the road now for Fugitive.
Could get very, very interesting though. Normal, Riz and Fisk will pull up to that building there, but that Fury will be playing from behind. exercising that cover fire, but
Oh,
that he does a fantastic job of exposing Fugitive Esports. And we did talk about this. If all the guys from Habitual Gaming needed to do was get all the intel they needed on Fugitive
mm.
Esports, they discovered, they were a three-man team and they knew exactly what to do from there.
Yeah, I mean, we did see Normal just getting Riz out of there, so off they are now. Ultima Rage could potentially come in for a little bit of that third-party play. Just scouting the area, Slate holding up high. You can see the rest of the team also pretty mobile. They could jump when it's necessary, when need be. But this is a good play coming through from Habitual, taking that 2-2 split, not keeping the whole team in the one building, and that will allow them a lot more flexibility, especially now potentially taking on the side of Ultima Rage.
It's always fun to talk about 2-2 splits, when teams actually perform 2-2 splits. We always talk about how good of an idea it is, but it requires a whole lot of skill because it can go south really fast, especially when the team starts to wants to eliminate those two players by coming in, you know full force. The guys from Ultimate Rage right now, you can see Habitual Gaming getting blown out of the water there by Slay. And that is because, that player that got caught out was not with the rest of his teammates. He got caught when he was trying to reconvene with them. They were just finished the 2-2 splits, that we're just talking about. And that is the danger of it. The information was already gathered by the guys from Ultimate Rage, and they decided to, act on it almost immediately. The moment Habitual Gaming left the compound, they started to shoot at them almost immediately there, able to catch one of the players off guard and knock him away. Now Habitual Gaming in serious trouble. Another player goes down, Death Fury this time, and now
Hmm.
there's a whole lot of work for them to do.
Yeah, there is quite a bit of work to do, but also Ultima Rage could feel a little bit of that pressure now descending down upon their shoulders, as we do have the squad from Ruthless just holding behind them. So the pressure is on, and this could actually allow for Habitual now to disengage, get themselves out of that troubling situation, and put a lot more distance in between themselves and Ultima Rage. But for the time being, Ultima trying to bring in a bit of a gatekeep here, trying to play on the edge as we have the rest of our teams also now starting to trickle up in towards the zone. Of course, it has shifted over on towards Everest now being smacked up center zone. But look at this, Nabilo actually getting found out by the utility. So Ultima not gonna go down without a fight.
Ultima just holding on here. They do have a very, very strong defense. As you can see, they're popping the S12K shot after shot there. On the side will be found and knocked away, and he will be confirmed. Beautiful shot coming in from Slay there, but he will be discovered and knocked straight down by Pika Boy. Ruthless not letting this one hang at all. They will be taking the advance, but Slay will just crawl into the building just in time before he gets finished off by Pika Boy. Ruthless need to reevaluate their plans here. They need to make another kind of advance into this position. But will they take the fight? I do not think so. Pika Boy will hop back into his vehicle and drive in the opposite direction, as the guys from Ultimate Rage will just be surviving a little bit longer with their 4 eliminations.
But I like how they are utilizing the available space. I mean, the players there from Ruthless now going to be opting for a more southern approach, and this allows Ultima the opportunity to get themselves back into contention, back into the swing of things, but also sneak themselves back into the zone. But if we look onto the zone itself, there's a very decent spread with the teams, right? We see the players there from the O3 brothers now moving up onto Everest. Afro are going to be joining them all the way up high. And that is going to allow them a lot of leverage, especially on the team situated down towards that southeastern side. But first, Afro and O3, they need to kind of settle their differences here, right? They need to see who's going to be the king of the hill.
Literally king of the hill. But it could go a different way entirely. Afro Esports, they might not even take the engagement with the guys from O3. They might just hold Everest where they can. Since Nexus hasn't spotted any of them yet to take a couple of pot shots in that general direction. So they could just be hanging on, and be neighbors for a while, because Everest looks like the most promising position inside of this play zone, at least for the time being. So they do not necessarily need to make any kind of plays just just yet. They just need to wait for the zone to dictate, what they do next. The zone might just play tricks on them. If they get into an engagement now and the zone just shifts away from Everett, it could go very, 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 very wrong, for the
Mm.
teams. But I believe they will just want to play, quiet neighbors for the time being and gather as much intel around Everest, just in case that play zone makes a kind of shift, away from their position, and they would have options, what to
Mm.
do if that is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do your due diligence at this point in time as we wait to see where stage 4 is going to be taking us. And it centers up on Everest, and this is now the cue for Afro to try and potentially move on forward. But it does seem like BC Picky, whatever, is going to be looking to just push over on towards that western side. And this is going to be quite an important place, looking at the players there from the O3 brothers, because they've now got the vantage point, but also they've got the real estate that everybody else wants.
you know that real estate is it might just be a determining factor, on how O3 will play this game. But again, another factor to determine is the number of players that O3 actually have. They are a three-man team as well, so that is already a disadvantage going into the fight against the guys from Afro Esports, because Afro is equally as formidable,
Mm.
when it comes to taking engagements, especially uphill battles. They are very strong when it comes to uphill battles, against teams. As you can see, they want to take the engagement and they are holding on, and they've seen for a fact the play zone has shifted away from their position, and now they're starting to make the advance uphill.
Ooh, but let's see whether or not Evil Nexus can defend the front line. I like what Afro is doing here, as you said, right? Quite a formidable force when it comes to those uphills. And this is exactly what both teams find themselves in. This is literally and figuratively an uphill battle, trying to see who will be able to maintain possession of Everest. O3 with a quick reposition, just looking to strengthen their numbers in a more centralized region, which I think is going to be a good call. But in the meanwhile, we did see the players from Ruthless and to the side there from EFX taking a more northern position, right? Trying to wrap all the way around and on the edge of zone. That's where a lot of these troubles are going to come through as the players now from the Cyclone Shield esports team. They've run into a few obstructions along the way, a few obstacles that they need to try and overcome. But fortunately, it does seem like they've managed to survive at least that initial altercation.
Yeah, it's really boils down to the plans that they've already set in motion for themselves. Now, O3, there's a whole lot of teams around them. I think they've gathered a lot of intel pertaining that. But I believe they should have put pressure onto the guys from Afro Esports. But speaking of pressure, too late will be definitely too late, as he will not. He will be discovered and sent back into the lobby very quickly by Ultimate Rage. Slays again. And now we are down to 12 teams, 32 players in the cut right here. And still, if you do lose out at this point, you get 0 points. DK, this new point system is scary. It is so scary,
Yes.
man. It is so scary.
It's scary. It's scary, but I love it.
I love it.
Because,
I love it.
yes.
I love it because we played for a long time with the old point system. We got way too comfortable with that system. Griff will be spotted there, But Royal Academy playing from the lower side of the hill. They're outside of the play zone. All of these teams outside of the play zone, they have a tremendous amount of rotations to look forward to. But 21st Century will be snuffed out immediately as well, and that will be the end of the game for them. Unfortunately, Cyclone Shield will be all the way out here in the very, very close to the edge of the circle there, but they do have to start to make the advance. And I talked about O3, playing this hill position. I don't think they're going to be leaving here anytime soon. Uphill advantage, so they will be holding on to it for as long as possible. But I believe they keep repositioning because of the number of players they have. They're a three-man team, so they always keep repositioning. I believe they should have put pressure on Afro, when they decided to start making the advance towards that hillside. But unfortunately, they had to reposition just based off of the fact that they knew that Afro was a four-man team.
Yeah, it's going to be a fight that's not going to be stopping anytime soon. Looking at the position coming through from the players of Habitual, you see them being the most eastern team, at least for the time being. But there's a lot of pressure riding on the shoulders because they came into this match sitting with only 25 points to their name. So adding this additional 4 eliminations to that brings them a little bit closer, but not enough to really catch up with the Fugitives' position just yet. So whatever they are able to secure will definitely count to the bag. But of course, Royal Academy is also a team that could really do with a nice addition of points as Death Fury comes rushing in, just strafing their way on through, picking up those trades. But now it's going to come down to utilities, and of course, quite a bit of lead now raining down as the O3 brothers look to apply a little bit of that pressure. I mean, there's still a bit of a gap coming in there as well with regards to points, like 29 points. Me trying to do some quick math there. Maybe it's 31. Who knows? Could be whichever one. But either which way, especially to get the teams on the eastern side, right? This is a very important engagement for them.
Mm. As you can see, it's all the most of the teams that are taking these engagements, they are starting to prioritize, and that is what makes these positions very dangerous here. Apex in serious trouble as Bego will ram through with his buggy there, and that is Apex falling behind. And we talked about this, DK. You cannot be Apex and be falling behind right now. But Afro Esports, on the other hand, they will be making their advance towards this position, one after the other. Shiva will be knocked away by Swag from the AKM. Beautiful touch. But the cover fire is beautiful from Griff. He will send Swags all the way down. And now it's even pickings as Neo will be going for that revive. Again, Griff peaks, and he will be warned for the second time. But surely he will be going for the revive this time around. His teammate, unfortunately, will not be so lucky. Shiva will be discovered. And oh, that's a fantastic grenade! Oh, what a grenade there from Peachy. Sweeping the guys from O3 back into the lobby.
I mean, that was peachy, right? That was glorious. That's
was peachy.
That's why peachy is called peachy, because look at that nade. It was absolutely phenomenal. But look at this now. Afro not backing down just yet. They are going to be looking to apply the last bit of pressure down towards the players there from Ruthless. But I like what Active Gaming are doing here, is using this opportunity to inch their way in towards the zone. We do see True also just trying to get themselves nice and snuggled in. But Afro holding a phenomenal position, and there's a lot of pressure now riding on their shoulders, because it's still kind of within that zone. It does allow them a great opportunity downhill, but it's not over until it's over, and I'm not quite sure if they'll be able to reach all the way down. In the meanwhile, True sends it up, and that is Hape now getting picked up and stripped out. Oh, True though, getting spotted, and almost Swags does secure that elimination.
Ooh, Afro Esports are using the high ground to their advantage, just squeezing it. They're milking it for all it's worth, because they know for a fact that if they go downhill, the game will get a lift that's significantly much more difficult for them to manage. They're up 8 eliminations. They're trying to clock those double digits, and it might just work right through. Bego is going to try his absolute best to deal with Peachy there, I believe, but it's not working out. He tries his best, but Peachy will just be significantly better, and I believe that is going to be curtains for Active. And now True is the last one up. Afro Esports pouring forward. It's a 4 versus 1. They know that they have this in the bag. They know his position. They know where he is. All he has to do is peek just a little bit too much more, and he will be sent back into the lobby. Toot sweet. Afro Esports, Everest,
yes,
DK, you talked about this. Everest was that position.
Yeah, and was it ever great, right? Afro just securing themselves a glorious double-digit finish there. Ultima Rage also, amounting to a decent amount of eliminations. You can see those 4 coming through, but of course, Active Gaming securing themselves those 3 elims rather, all the way in 3rd place. We did see Habitual also securing themselves 6 eliminations. So some pretty interesting plays that came through here. Again, we see a very, very strong performance. Ultima Rage then being Moon from Ultima Rage, getting our MVP for this game with a nice bit of a best companion going out there to Top Boy. Very fitting name, right? And then, of course, the other one was, I believe that was Neo, if I'm not mistaken, coming through there from the side of Afro, securing themselves those plays. But yeah, a very, very satisfying amount of action coming through on our very first game right here for the final day.
It was impressive, but more. If you want to remove Apex from 1st place, more. You need to do more. The moment Apex was eliminated, I was expecting more teams to rush at the chance, once they saw in the feed that Apex was gone. So all they had to do was just maintain it, and increase the numbers, increase the probability of more points on the board for themselves. But it's just an unfortunate scenario, because I don't think we're going to see any team do up to like 15, 16 eliminations today. They've been doing it before. They've been doing it all the time.
Mm.
Day one, day two, day three. I'm pretty sure when you cast it out, I'm pretty sure a team did a double digit chicken dinner in one of those games with significantly high numbers. I'm trying to remember what game it was, but I think it happened in one of those games. But I don't see that happening today. I think 10, 11 probably we'll probably see 10, 11s, but it's going to be so difficult, for a team to run rampage
Mm.
today. Nobody is going to be cutting slack for any team today. I mean, take a look at Ultimate Rage. They were getting
Mm.
stopped out by habitual gaming and ruthless esports as well. No one is
Mm.
cutting any slack today. That's the final. So it's absolutely crazy, man.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you. But there's only one way for us to find out if there is going to be an opportunity for those 15 elimination plus chicken dinners to come through. And that is, of course, for us to move on to our next match. So we are going to be taking a quick break. Be sure to stay tuned. We'll see you guys right back afterwards.
We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. You like fast life, you like to drive, get down and dirty, act like the bad guy. You want some love, you like when you feel like calling at midnight. You got the best of me, you got me losing sleep. I've been hopeful, baby, I was hoping maybe that you crossed my path. I've been sinking lately, and it's hard to move. Think I'm stuck on you. We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. I wonder, would you love me better if I go? I'm not home. I wonder, can we trust the stars above to let us know? I'd go. We only got this life, no guarantees and stars align. Follow your passion trail and try to keep an open mind. Hiding it by myself, no guarantees you'll find me. Said if it's faith you'll find me, leaving the past behind. We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. I wonder, would you love me better if I go? I'm not home. I wanna know, can we trust the stars above to let us know? I'd go. Whoa. We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. You like fast life, you like to drive, get down and dirty, act like the bad guy. You want some love, you like when you feel like calling at midnight. You got the best of me, you got me losing sleep. I've been hopeful, baby, I was hoping maybe that you crossed my path. I've been sinking lately, and it's hard to move. Think I'm stuck on you. We're in trances, going off to different Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. I wonder, would you love me better if I go? I'm not home. I wonder, can we trust the stars above to let us know? I'd go. We only got this life, no guarantees and stars align. Follow your passion trail and try to keep an open mind. Hiding it by myself, no guarantees you'll find me. Said if it's faith you'll find me, leaving the past behind. We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. I wonder, would you love me better if I go? I'm not home. I wanna know, can we trust the stars above to let us know? I'd go. Whoa. We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. You like the fast life, you like to drive, get down and dirty, act like the bad guy. You want some love, you like when you feel like calling at midnight. You got the best of me, you got me losing sleep. I've been hopeful, baby, I was hoping maybe that you'd cross my path. I've been sinking lately, and it's hard to move. Think I'm stuck on you. We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. I wonder, would you love me better if I go? I'm not home. I wonder, can we trust the stars above to let us know? I'd go. We only got this life, no guarantees and stars align. Follow your passion trail and try to keep an open mind. Hiding it by myself, no guarantees you'll find me. Said if it's faith you'll find me, leaving the past behind. We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. I wonder, would you love me better if I go? I'm not home. I wanna know, can we trust the stars above to let us know? I'd go. Whoa. We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. You like the fast life, you like to drive, get down and dirty, act like the bad guy. You want some love, you like when you feel like calling at midnight. You got the best of me, you got me losing sleep. I've been hopeful, baby, I was hoping maybe that you'd cross my path. I've been sinking lately, and it's hard to move.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Fire's Easter hunt. Of course, well, the players are busy hunting those winner chicken dinners. So speaking about the hunting and the heat that is yet to come as we enter over into Miramar, we have to take a quick look at those leaderboards as well. And of course, here we go. The answer to the question is Apex. Yes, they are still sitting up in pole position. Ultima Rage still hard on their heels. But as you can see, the O3 brothers looking to close that gap, already sitting now all the way up onto 100 points. So the things are getting closer here, Priest, as we progress further and further forward. But of course, well, we also need to see what that flight path is going to bring on through, as it does start all the way down the southern edge of the zone, heading up into Torre Ahumada. So I'm curious to see where the teams are going to drop. Are they going to go for the usual drop locations? But also then what that first initial zone is going to bring through.
The first zone is usually the determinant of how these teams will take the rest of the game. It could go either ways, at this point. But I am glad to see, the guys from O3 have cracked that triple digit. They're now in 100 points. They have been on 99 points for like 4 games. No points, they always kept getting eliminated. That's what we're talking about, the point system. They always kept getting eliminated in 9th place, 10th place, 9th place, 10th place. So they managed to squeeze in through into the last game, getting 1 point, and that puts them into the 100-point region. But now they need over at least to crack through like 50 points to get something onto the guys from Team Apex. There's a lot of work that needs to be done from O3. But DK, do you think it is going to all boil down to the final game, or will Apex just snatch it and make it impossible for any of these teams to measure up anymore?
It's all going to depend on how much Apex are looking to increase their lead by, right? Because they've already established a pretty dominant position sitting on the scoreboard there. So I'm curious to see. Well, I think this match is going to be the determinant to see what their approach will be for the remaining games, right? Because we have not really seen all that much coming through from them within the very first Erangel, game number 1. Moving into game number 2, I think this is where we'll get a good assessment as to what their approach is for the remaining games. But I'm also curious to see what's going to come through from, the teams that we have hot on their heels, because they're not out of the woods. I mean, Ultima Rage, sure, they're not that close, but they could still potentially close that gap within the next few games. So the heat is going to be on.
The heat definitely will be on, and a little bit of deja vu here, DK, because you can see the guys from Gen X again getting their hands very, very dirty against the guys from Invictus once again. And Rogue Daddy will be the one spotted this time. A couple of shots were sent earlier, knocking him away, but he will be picked up. But it looks like the guys from Gen X, it looks like the strategy they've been applying. Invictus also have the same ideas, because this is, like I said, deja vu again. But hopefully the guys from Invictus will be luckier this time around, because the last time they did get decimated, by Gen X. But do you see that happening again? Is that a possibility? I mean, this is looks like a whole lot of buildings. It looks like this is Picado, actually. Yes, it is Picado. Picado.
Yes, sir.
So this wait, do you know any strategies for Picado? Because trust me, I've seen a lot of things. Do you have any particular strategy that you see that works every time in Picado?
Not really, no, because teams have different strengths, and once a team replays into their strength, then whatever strategy it is that they take works out in their favor, right? But at this point, it's difficult to say really what either of these teams' capability is with regards to how they could be taking these altercations. Because if you look at Gen X, right, they've shown that they are a team that can be super aggressive, right? They sit with the third highest elimination count on the overall standings. They sit with 68, just 2 behind the players there from Apex. But if we then look over on towards Invictus, I mean, they're also pretty consistent with their eliminations, but not as aggressive. So if Invictus are looking to score this one better, I would say maybe play it a little bit more tactful, try and kind of grab the players there from Gen X as they start to rotate out, or completely envelop them and then try and squeeze the last little bit of life out of them.
I believe that is that is always going to work, but it's all a matter of execution.
Mm,
If you can execute to your strengths, just like you said, it would work for you at least almost every single time. But it really boils down to, team strengths, individual brilliance and whatnot. But
mm,
again, I'm a big fan now of how far PUBG Mobile has come. There's vending machines now. There was a
mm-hmm.
time where there was nothing like that. But now there's vending machines that could really just give you energy drinks, painkillers, whatnot, even ammo as well.
Mm.
So I've been so impressed seeing how the game has evolved over the years. Back when I used to play almost every night, and there was nothing like vending machines back then. But look at now, players can just walk up to a vending machine. Oh, I need this, and it comes right out. I mean, someone must have spent sleepless nights thinking about that. Why don't we add more vending machines and let the vending machine disrupt bullets, links, starts to link up those grenades again? Most wanted will be the one to fall this time around, and he is alone and isolated. There is no cover. Ooh,
There's a little bit of cover, but not sufficient enough really to stop the advances here from the players coming in from Gen X. But yeah, Link's definitely playing connect the dot on that one. We can see Link's now just full on sending it forward. But fortunately, Snip has also now moved in, trying to bring in a bit of a helping hand. But Gen X looking good. They move up as a full unit, not going to allow anything to get them on a disadvantage. But will they be able to find Snip and potentially then make their way around and close up the remainder of Mikado? The first one does fall, but there we go. Snip getting snipped on down. Oh, they are. Up comes the shotty. And of course, that is now Gen X securing their first elimination. But they're not out of the woods because now is where the hard work comes. Now they got to find a way of how are they going to combat the players there from Invictus.
Invictus now, they don't have to worry about picking any players up. They just need to worry about how they want to advance these positions that they already have. We will get the first elimination there, sprays towards Rogue Baby, but unfortunately no bullet will be connecting. Rogue's Daddy will send the shots all the way back, but it's going to be a very tricky one there. Rogue Baby's shots will connect this time around, but the return fire from Lynx is perfect, connects as well, drops Rogue Baby immediately there, and now the grenades start to come out. It's all a matter of how good the throwing skills are. That's a fantastic throw, actually. Might just connect through, but True will move away just in time. And now it's 1 versus 2. Courtesy of Rogue Daddy. That's a beautiful jump shot, but it's not going to do the trick. UGX again. Deja vu. Once again, UGX come out on top.
Yeah, they just held their own so well in that one, and they didn't even lose a single player, but they got themselves the squad wipe, and now they've got free reign in Picado. But it might be short-lived to a certain extent because we can see the players there from Men of Blood also just holding towards that southwestern side. So this is where it's going to be of the utmost importance for the players here from Gen X to get themselves all raised up, ready to roll. As you can see, not only is it going to be the Men of Blood, we have Apex also then advancing in from that eastern front. But look down south, right? The players there from the Cyclone Shield actually taking a very interesting play all the way in towards Chumacera. And of course, the Fugitives still holding on towards a little bit of that Los Leones action, but they've got a few visitors.
Fugitive Esports, unfortunately for them, getting tricked out again. They've lost one player, but they do have one elimination this time around. And once again, they are a 3-man team once the camera is on them. But O3 in serious trouble. Shiva getting knocked away, sent back into the lobby. They are a 2-man team now. And this is not, I repeat, again, this is not the performance I was expecting from O3 coming into the final day. And O3 has been known to be one of those teams that likes to, show out on the last day. They tend to turn up. They tend to, to perform exceptionally when it comes to the final days, but now it looks like it's going to be teams like Gen X that will get the job done because they've continued to increase the momentum based off of the performances that they've had yesterday. But Fugitive Esports, they have a lot of work to do here though, but they have the numbers advantage against the guys from O3, so it looks like they're starting to plan something. I can see their movements there and the way they're positioned behind all of these walls, especially Shy. He is the most dangerous player in Fugitive Esports right now, so they need to be wary of him, especially Nexus. That grenade has to do something if he's going to pop and lock it, but hopefully the guys from O3 will come out on top. if they can't just hold their ends.
Well, we can see those gears turning, but will it result? Yes, it will. It is going to be Griff finding the head up onto would shake. And now's that kind of worms that O3 has opened up, right? They're going to find a contingency plan. Are they going to look to rush it out? They know where one player is. The rest of the fugitives are now going to descend down upon them. As you can see, it's normal to move up, coming in behind them. A little bit of that mobilization with the vehicle, but no clear decisive play coming through from the side here of fugitives. I mean, O3 just trying to play this one as best they can without having all the whereabouts of the opposing team. Arrow, meanwhile, is going to be perched on high, waiting like Green Arrow right here, waiting to see if they can maybe find a bit of a play. Oh, but the nade gets sent up, overshoots ever so slightly. But Griff and Evil Nexus now be looking to close it up. Oh, I mean, I hope Evil Nexus has got enough nades, though, to follow up on Arrow, and of course the molly does not really find its place.
Ooh, Shy. Looks like he might just be bleeding out there, but a confirmation grenade from Griff will come through. Nexus now taking the 1v1 against Normal Riz, and it will confirm. O3 up for eliminations, and this is the beginning of something great for the guys from O3. Beautiful, beautiful teamwork coming in from O3 there, and I did not actually expect them to win because, Fugitive Esports had Arrow just on top of that corner there, but I believe it was the Molotov that just sent him away when he popped in right in front of him, and he just had to move away really, really quickly, and I believe that foiled, the plans, whatever plans they had in that engagement, and O3 just decided to sweep up on that one. But big shout out to Griff, with the nades. He was absolutely fantastic. A nade to knock and a nade to confirm. I mean, it doesn't get any sweeter than that.
Yeah, quick 1-2, 1-2 as they deal those hits of devastation. Meanwhile, Tokyo now just drifting out on the edge of the map as they looking to move in, getting themselves into a more secured position. But it's going to be a little bit of a risky run, especially when the boulders come into play like we saw just there. You always got to watch out. I mean, those boulders, it's like they are heat-seeking, right? They look to chase down your vehicle, and if you think you've missed it, it moves and it's right in front of you, and then lobby, right? So you got to watch out.
I always thought, it was only me that said that, because those boulders, they're not really there until you're driving. They are never really there until you're driving, and all of a sudden they just pull out of nowhere and your vehicle, and it always does more damage to your HP than to your vehicle. That's suspicious though. That's really suspicious. That's really suspicious. But EFX there, unfortunately, Smoker will catch reverb on the rotation, and confirming that he exposes his head just a little bit too long, as Sully will warn the shots towards that direction, but Smoker will fall behind, and Carl actually gets knocked away and confirmed. Smoker smoking EFX one after the other, smoking them like a pack of cigarettes, because you can see there it is getting very, very tricky. Sully this time getting knocked away by Tokyo. Royal Academy starting to cook. Pyro, the last one up again. And Tokyo will spray right through. Cuts him down to about 1 HP. And now Royal Academy have this one in the bag, surely. Pyro has to move out of dodge. He needs to move out of this position. He has to get somewhere safe. It is not safe for him right now at all. EFX falling behind, one after the other. Sully still knocked away. There's a whole lot of chances here for Pyro to get out of dodge. All he has to do is hop into his vehicle and find somewhere else to be, but he's not taking this one lying down. Instead, pops a grenade to the left-hand side, tries to connect. He is going to catch Lyrad, knocks him down as well. But beautiful, beautiful. It's Smoker, DK. It's Smoker again.
Yeah, I mean, Smoker firing Pyro right there, shipping them right back to the lobby, but he is going to be on because we've got the O3 brothers just hanging down south. Meanwhile, as we look back in towards Picado, it's going to be still Gen X. Well, now we've had the addition of the 21st century coming on through. True does secure the hit there with the Mini 14, and does seem like Gen X could get ready for a bit of a rush, maybe applying that pressure down onto the 21st century, but Freak keeping their distance, trying to do their due diligence, don't want to rush in blind. They want to gather as much information as they can before making that decisive play.
Yeah, Gen X super tactical team when it comes to taking engagements, especially in a 4 versus 4. You know, you can see Legend on the high ground there. Probably has one of those DMRs popping right through, feeding the rest of the guys on his team all that intel. And I believe he has links working side by side with the rest of the players and the rest of the team right there. But it might just be a trick. It might just be very, very interesting for the guys from 21st Century if they can hold out this position for as long as possible. But again, Gen X want this way more than 21st Century. They are the team that are very, very close, to the rest of the top 3 teams. So I believe, they want this just a little bit more than 21st Century. As you can see, Ferro is just prone on the ground here, still trying to work his angles right, as Freak is just north of his position, and things might just get very, very tricky very, very quickly.
Oh, yes, you can say that 3 times fast. But either which way, yes, Gen X only trailing by 2 points behind the O3 brothers. So there is going to be a little bit of pressure coming through on their shoulders. Meanwhile, as we can see, the teams are looking to progress further and further inwards as we have, the Cyclone Shield team all the way down on that far southern edge. A few of those elims now coming through in the feed. Meanwhile, we have our standoff here, right? Nothing much going to be happening, but it's going to be up to Manny and Roach to see if they can fend off the advances coming from the side of Ruthless. They've now got the numbers advantage. Oh, nice with the Scar. Elda coming in, but down goes Roach. And it all turns to Manny. Will they be able to clutch this one out, trying to wrap around, but instead slides down? Yeah, they're not going to be able to bring their teammate back as they've now been confirmed down. And this is where Cyclone Shield, well, they're going to find a little bit of a different approach.
Cyclone Shield, unfortunately, it is an unfortunate setup for them, losing 3 players so quickly, relatively too quickly for my liking, and too far away from the play zone as well. They might just need to recall this one and reinvigorate themselves, because it's not looking like this is one of those games where they will have the best performances. And I believe, and unfortunately, it's Manny actually that's the last one up. If it was Roach, I would have a little bit more faith. Roach is that player that that tends to survive significantly longer than the rest of the team, especially when he's by himself. But Cyclone Shield, they need to, yeah. Exactly. I think that is why he's named Roach, I believe, and he owns it, he owns it. So yeah, so that tells you a whole lot of the story there. But this is a promising engagement, though. Active Gaming and Team Apex, it is a very, very promising engagement. But I don't know, Active is not one of those teams that will take engagements like this, especially owing to the fact that Blessing is just on top of that church. The guys from Apex will be praying there, but Kage's prayers will not be answered. But the return fire is almost immediate from Apex. 1 for 1. It's a beautiful trade. But let's see, will this engagement just last a little bit longer?
Well, I can tell you one thing, with the position we can see coming through there from Apex, especially where we're looking right now, that is definitely a blessing in disguise.
Blessing in disguise.
Yes, let that one sink in. I mean, that's on two points, because it's hard cover and it's up high, right? So it is in the sky. And his
blessing, and his blessing. Yeah, I see.
So that's a 3-way.
I'm writing this down. I will use it again when you're not here, DK, and I will say 100%. I came up with it myself.
Yes, do it. You can slide me royalties at some point. But either way,
100%.
We are going to be waiting for our remaining teams now. The final 12 that we've got left to settle their differences and see who's going to be the one to walk away with that winner chicken dinner. Of course, just at the top of the screen, we can see there is going to be the players from Habitual holding on to a very glorious northern angle. A lot of high ground to play from there. But I guess see what's going to happen towards this eastern and southern side, as that is where we see a lot of focus from our respective teams, right? There's a lot more congestion happening in these regions. And I think this next zone is going to be the deciding factor to know who will be the ones to make it to that last little bit, as we have a bit of a standoff still coming through. I mean, we've not seen a major push coming through from Gen X over on towards 21st Century. But however, it is going to be Active now, looking to play their hand in both directions. On one side over on towards Ruthless, the other instead getting sent over to Moonlight, and the rest of the players then coming through from the side of Apex. So yeah, Active, this could be a very unwanted sandwich just around the corner.
You know, there's so much information flowing around here for the guys from Active Gaming, fighting on the left, fighting on the right, and not enough vehicles for TQ to navigate with. This is looking more and more like a sandwich. The longer it tends to drag on, as O3 will be in the mix. And speaking of O3, there's Griff catching Gordier just behind. And now Active Gaming need to refocus themselves once more. They were focused on the guys from Ruthless Esports, but it looks like right now they have to focus on O3 as well, focus on Team Apex, and that is the danger, of not following through with your initial plan. If you did not want to follow through, all you had to do was find a better position to hold out yourselves, and now, TQ is getting bullets sent away from all angles right now. He's exposed to the guys from O3. He's equally exposed, to Team Apex. If they look hard enough, they might be able to spot him through the window there, But then again, Ruthless Esports are not leaving that area as well. They've seen now that O3 have pulled up to the scene. So I think they're just going to hang on just a little bit longer to see what TQ will do from here. If they can catch him and, and steal one elimination for themselves. Even O3 as well, they're still hanging back, hanging behind. They've managed to squeeze out one extra elimination there as well, and they're aware of Team Apex. So hopefully, the advantage that Apex has over here is I believe it's just them being inside of the play zone and not much else.
Yeah, that's a major gatekeep opportunity that they have at their disposal, and we're going to see what will come through as we've got about 20 seconds or less now left on the clock, as the blue zone is just cooking up, getting ready to move on through. Meanwhile, Ultima Rage and Ruthless now just over on towards this western side. Active still hanging in the wing, but we've not really seen any major advances coming through from either Ultima or the players here from Ruthless. But this could be that opportunity now, as we can see Mystique trying to deploy a few of the smokes here, trying to put up some really good coverage. But Ultima, they're not going to be backing just yet. Just holding a steady ground. Oh, but the headshots, the sprays come through. And that is now the opening to see whether or not Ruthless are going to continue with the play. But look at that sledge coming through like a hammer, just hitting those shots into Mystique.
Ooh, Ultima Rage starting to play that way that we've seen them play time and time again, blocking the sightlines of the guys from Ruthless Esports. And that is the way Ultimate Rage actually tend to make their advances and their engagements. They block your sightlines. They make it difficult for you to see when they start to make their push. You can see they're doing it again, blocking that just little sightline there. They're making the advance. Phantom holding behind. Sledge as well. Just might decide to start hammering through those shots again. But Ruthless Esports, or rather Relentless wait, is it Ruthless or Relentless? Okay.
It's Ruthless.
Is it Ruthless? Okay, it's
They
Ruthless.
are relentlessly ruthless.
Yeah, that's actually the play on words I was looking for. You've got me out here trying to make word plays, DK. I blame you for this. But yes, Ruthless Esports might get caught out here. Nabil, who's going to get knocked away? And Slay is going to be etching very, very closely to this position. Mystique is just hanging by the windowsill there, trying to, probably might as well just put on a suit, and start slinging webs.
Yes. I mean, we can see Mystique being under wraps, but of course now being inflamed as well. So, a little bit of anti-histamine will definitely help with that information. Meanwhile, it's going to be Ultima Rage now looking to push on as they just step up with the aggression. Phantom goes down, and that is Ruthless securing themselves a glorious squad wipe right then and there. Up to 7 elims they go, but now they also still have to get their butts back into the zone. Meanwhile, Habitual will bid their farewells as they get shipped out, getting sent back towards the lobby. Afro looking glorious. Apex still holding up high, but not yet securing themselves a decent position moving into the zone. And this is where I like what Royal Academy has done, right? They've moved in, taking possession of one of the only few compounds within this area, and that could be really favorable for them, especially now that they've got a few neighbors just on the opposite end, right? That is going to be the Men of Blood, so the heat is going to be on. And, well, those are the only 2 teams held on to zone.
That proactivity there from the guys from Royal Academy starting to pay off in a 2-2 split. They have a beautiful compound position. Just and Lyra and Tokyo holding that eastern side. It looks like this might just be the plan they've been waiting for. But take a look at the guys from Men of Blood, like you said, dead center. And now the guys from Gen X will be pulling up to the scene from that northern position. And all of these teams are starting to make their advance. The play zone starting to squeeze them all out into that forward position, and they're all moving at one after the other. But Team Apex now have to start clearing the sight lines, to make an advance inside. And it's going to be active gaming the first obstacle, but Pubg will catch Beggar while dropping down immediately as well. Happy tries his best for the DBS. Will do the job right there. Fireboy fires away. But he will be discovered immediately there by Afro Esports. Oh, no. It's like everyone is gatekeeping everyone.
I mean, Afro, just, right time, right place. Sitting there, Apex pops out of the zone, does a push-up, and pushes themselves back into the lobby. Meanwhile, we're down to final 5 teams. We got the players from Royal Academy situated on that eastern front. We got Ruthless, the only team still holding on to zone. And this is now the opportunity to secure a glorious finish. But Afro going to be looking to clear out the zone before they decide to push in. We also still have the players from Gen X situated all the way on towards that northern side. And of course, Griff, they're from the Earthly Brothers, sent all the way down south. But now is going to be that push, right? 30 seconds or less now left on the clock. The teams have to make the ultimate play to get themselves secured. And Afro going to be quite bold, though, playing a very exposed position, not really moving into hard cover.
And you're right about that one, because, that hard cover will be absolutely useful coming into the final phases of the circle here. Afro Esports, however, I've known them to be very, very dominating when it comes to Miramar. So hopefully we'll see more of that action, holding out here. Neo will be spotted by Nabil. A couple of shots might just be sent in his direction there, but Afro Esports has spoke too soon. Swags will be spotted and knocked away, but I believe the revive, there's a possibility of that happening. Royal Academy start to move inside of that next angle of the play zone, but I believe it might just be curtains for the guys from Gen X, as there's just one more left for them. The play zone will claim true, and I believe that will be farewell to the guys from Gen X. But here comes Griff from O3 making the advance, and he will be spotted out by Hunter. Afro Esports up 9 eliminations, and it looked like that performance they've been looking for there. But Lynx, unfortunately, will be sent away.
Wow, some pretty aggressive plays coming through, but it's only 3 that remain. It's going to be Ruthless, though, sitting up on 11 eliminations to their name. Oh, Royal Academy sitting on 7. From Afro sitting on 9, but a great opportunity coming through as Peachy does spawn out Mystique. And this is a phenomenal angle now to hold, as Afro are absolutely blessed with regards to their positioning. But there's still quite a few contenders. Royal Academy are going to be holding on to that 4 piece, but they position on the blue zone, so they're going to have a really tough time securing this next play. Meanwhile, Ruthless, they've been able to pick up Mystique. Nabilo now just deploying a few of the smokes, trying to send it out. They've got so many that they're even lying on the ground right next to them. And that's when you know that, you've got a full bag of smokes and you don't have to worry. But look at that smoker now getting traded as the hit connects on through. Afro locking in the angles. And this is now going to spell disaster for Royal Academy, as they have to push forward. The blue zone is going to take care of Smoker in the meanwhile, but that is also then the players from Ruthless getting shipped out down to Afro, sitting on 2 piece here. It is going to be Peachy and Hunter trying to claim the last little bit. Maybe they could still bring Swags back into this fight. So they do attempt it. There we go. Swags now back in the swing of things. And it's a 2 versus 3. Afro sitting with the advantage and 13 eliminations to their name.
And this is a performance I was not expecting to see, especially from a team like Afro Esports. They fall a little bit behind there, but Swags will pop some shots right through the door. And now Royal Academy in serious danger here. One after the other, they start to go down. Grenade from PG starts to connect, and Afro Esports in serious trouble. But unfortunately, Ryrad will be spotted there by PG, and the work is done. Afro Esports claimed the second chicken dinner of the night, and they're off to great things.
I mean, that's a 13. No, that's a 15.
15.
You remember what I said? Remember what I said
I'm,
when I
I'm
said let's see.
I was not expecting this kind of performance, owing to the fact that they did not start very, very quickly with the
Yeah.
eliminations. I was not expecting them to accrue all of these numbers. But then again, it is Miramar and Afro
Mm-hmm.
Esports. I have seen them dominate in Miramar time and time and time again. But I've not necessarily been seeing it in Fire's Easter Hunt, from the qualifiers to the group stages to the semis. I wasn't necessarily seeing this kind of Miramar domination, but I knew that was a possibility. But it was still impressive. Peachy coming in clutch once again. It's so
Mm-hmm.
impressive. How he has been super, super consistent holding out. But Afro Esports, big, 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 big numbers to them. I mean, this will catapult them significantly into that leaderboard. Into that top 8 position.
But hang on, right? So we just looked at those elimination figures, right? Let me just get them in front of me here. So Peachy only got 458 damage, right? That's it. That's all they got. Only 458, right? There it is. But 7 eliminations. So that means Peachy was able to time those shots to perfection, right? Hitting it when the hitting was supposed to happen, and stealing quite a few of those eliminations as well. So what a
A
phenomenal
few?
performance.
Would
Yes,
we
just
call it
not
a
even a
few?
handful.
Would we call it a few? I mean, if you're getting like 400 and if you're getting 458 damage points on 7 eliminations, that could mean it was the final shot that you were
Mm.
stealing that got the elimination, that got the confirmation. So Peachy was probably one shot. He was using one shot, and probably it was probably a sniper, a DMR or something, and you would see players crawling away. He would wait till just to see how far they've crawled.
Mm.
Okay, I think one shot will do it for me. Let's save these bullets for later on. One shot, he gets one shot, and that's an elimination. So, because how would you explain 458 damage points for 7 eliminations? You know that Peachy was peaching. He's
Mm.
peaching.
Mm. Yes, I mean, what else can you say, right? A good return on investment, sending out a very limited amount of bullets and getting great results coming through in turn. But of course, speaking about great results, right, we are going to be moving into game number 3, which is going to be over on towards Sadok. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll see you guys right back after the break.
No plans for the night. I love how you look at me, feeling low, nothing to lose. Can we say it tonight? Cause I don't wanna go. I know the tension's gone now, and that you won't stay here. Keep looking back, don't wanna forget you. Yeah, I wanna do it all again. So I keep pushing rewind, hoping you'll still by my side. We can't get lost in time. But don't you wanna do it all again? Start on repeat in my mind, dancing with you by my side. We can't get lost in time. Yeah, I wanna do it all again. We were on top of the world, had time that we wasted. We were young and so dumb. I knew that you were the one, played our songs all the time. Can we say it tonight? Cause I don't wanna go. I know the tension's gone now, and that you won't come back. Keep looking back, don't wanna forget you. Yeah, I wanna do it all again. So I keep pushing rewind, hoping you'll still by my side. We can't get lost in time. But don't you wanna do it all again? Stuck on repeat in my mind, dancing with you by my side. We can't get lost in time. Yeah, I wanna do it all again. You know that I don't wanna feel this way again. So let's pick up the pieces that we left unsaid. I know the tension's gone now, and that you won't stay here. Keep looking back, don't wanna forget you. Yeah, I wanna do it all again. So I keep pushing Maybe it's cause we're young, got time and we're wasted, got no plans for the night. I love how you look at me, feeling low, nothing to lose. Can we say it tonight, cause I don't wanna go. I know the tension's gone now, and that you won't stay here. Keep looking back, don't wanna forget you. Yeah, I wanna do it all again, so I keep pushing rewind, hoping you'll still by my side. We can't get lost in time, but don't you wanna do it all again? Stuck on repeat in my mind, dancing with you by my side. We can't get lost in time. Yeah, I wanna do it all again. We were on top of the world, had time that we wasted. We were young and so dumb. I knew that you were the one, played our songs all the time. Can we say it tonight, cause I don't wanna go. I know the tension's gone now, and that you won't come back. Keep looking back, don't wanna forget you. Yeah, I wanna do it all again, so I keep pushing rewind, hoping you'll still by my side. We can't get lost in time, but don't you wanna do it all again? Stuck on repeat in my mind, dancing with you by my side. We can't get lost in time. Yeah, I wanna do it all again. You know that I don't wanna feel this way again, so let's pick up the pieces that we left unsaid. I know the tension's gone now, and that you won't stay here. Keep looking back, don't wanna forget you. Yeah, I wanna do it all again, so I keep pushing rewind, hoping you'll still by my side. We can't get lost in time, but don't you wanna do it all again? Stuck on repeat in my mind, dancing with you by my side. We can't get lost in time. Yeah, I wanna do it all again. Maybe it's cause we're young, got time and we're wasted, got no plans for the night. I love how you look at me, feeling low, nothing to lose. Can we say it tonight, cause I don't wanna go. I know the tension's gone now, and that you won't stay here. Keep looking back, don't wanna forget you. Yeah, I wanna do it all again, so I keep pushing rewind, hoping you'll still by my side. We can't get lost in time, but don't you wanna do it all again? Stuck on repeat in my mind, dancing with you by my side. We can't get lost in time. Yeah, I wanna do it all again. We were on top of the world, had time that we wasted. We were young and so dumb. I knew that you were the one, played our songs all the time. Can we say it tonight, cause I don't wanna go. I know the tension's gone now, and that you won't come back. Keep looking back, don't wanna forget you. Yeah, I wanna do it all again, so I keep pushing rewind, hoping you'll still by my side. We can't get lost in time, but don't you wanna do it all again? Stuck on repeat in my mind, dancing with you by my side. We can't get lost in time. Yeah, I wanna do it
What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to hop into game number 3. We're jumping straight into Slung or Xanok. Call it whatever you like. It is going to be hot and sweaty as we jump into the jungle. But as we know, this is the final day. This is where we need to take a look at the points to see how much work the teams now need to do moving into the second to last match. So let's take a look at those scores. Of course, we did see Apex sitting up at the top. They are still sitting up at the top, but Ultima Rage are looking to close the gap. And we have Gen X and O3 brothers tied on 109 points.
Ooh, you can see O3 slipping away, but they did have a good enough Miramar game that we just saw, but Gen X did equally as well. 109 points tied. And Gen X just one step away from claiming that third place bag, that third place money, 150 USD could be up for grabs for Gen X. All they have to do is play their cards right. But then, DK, it's Sanhok. It's Sanhok, DK. All your strategies go out the window.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this is looking pretty exciting, right? The very centered up flight path coming through, as we know. It doesn't matter when it comes to Sanhok because it is a small map. You can pretty much reach to wherever you need to go. But I think the main kicker of this one is going to be that first initial zone that will be revealing itself momentarily as the teams are looking to disperse, get themselves situated. A little bit of that hard drop action now coming into boot camp as we have a more eastern centered zone. And already Guardia finds the first hit through. Not getting the elimination just yet, but it could be just around the bend as Afro are also still looking for their weapons.
Ooh. Afro Esports getting called out, and this is something that I've noticed that happens in this region a lot. Teams would win a chicken dinner, have a fantastic game, and then be the first team out the lobby in the next game. I have seen this happen so much. I think there's a name for it now, chicken curse or something like that. But Active Gaming will not be letting up on this one at all. They've seen Peaches be knocked away. They want to press the advantage, but the revive comes onto there from Neo, and Neo will take the advantage position. TQ tries his best to pop a couple of shots, but the DBS will connect. And now Afro Esports starting to move forward one after the other, and the confirmation there might just come through, but TQ plays from the left-hand side as Afro Esports now will just be holding on for a little bit longer. Active Gaming still circling around, but Peachy still down to about 1 HP. Any touch, he will fall once again, and Gordier still suffering from the consequences of that DBS, but will he be allowed to suffer for much longer?
Well, we are going to find out soon enough how this will all unravel. But here we go. Neo does get that confirmation in, sends out even more shots. But look at that, AK at close range. Absolutely devastating now. It's going to be Neo trying to pick up those jump shots, but does not succeed as TQ instead lands the hits. And this is Afro now having to try and pick up the pieces. But what an approach. What a play that has been coming through from Active.
Oh, that jump shot from TQ was absolute bonkers there. Active Gaming doing absolute best, but unfortunately they will succumb to Afro Esports as they will be taking 4 eliminations away. Afro Esports coming out on top in boot camp with a 3-man team.
Yeah, because Swags is just, playing chicken out on the edge. Just going like, what, it's fine. I'm gonna just stand here and see if anyone finds me. If not, it's all good. We'll just come in with a bit of a play.
Yeah. Relentless. Oh, Ruthless, sorry. Ruthless actually pulled up and they're stealing. They're stealing Afro Esports. Oh my. The violence continues though, and I believe they've swept away what was left of the guys from Afro Esports. So it is going to be Swags who's playing chicken that's left to survive. Invictus here getting their hands dirty against the guys from O3. Griff just holding the top side of the building, the first floor. He's finally going to jump out and take the advance onto the guys from Invictus. Most Wanted still knocked away on the ground there, but he is going to be confirmed. O3 sent packing. 4 eliminations to Invictus. Finally, Invictus getting their own pound of flesh at the expense of O3, and O3 falling out of contention of that third place. There is a potential now for Gen X to snatch the third place away from them.
Yeah, but I mean, if we look at the position coming through here for Gen X, they are pulling in all the way from that western side. Lynx could maybe find Swags, as we're about to potentially see them just sneaking in over on the side there. There's Lynx over there, number 18, just hiding behind the mini-map. Meanwhile, by none being secured by Invictus, and they are now victorious. Sitting with those 4 elims, they've got a pretty smooth sail to move forward. But it's all going to come down to where they choose to rotate towards next. Are they just going to sit around in a little bit of by none, just chill, just have a bit of a blast, dip their toes in the water, maybe have a little bit of a, I don't know, a sit back, have some blue juice. Of course, in the meanwhile, as we also then look over on towards that southeastern side, it is going to be the players here from Royal Academy making their way on through 21st Century. Also, maybe under a little bit of pressure, especially if the players from Royal Academy decide to move into Kampong, and then it's going to be hot and sweaty yet again.
The weather right here, as you said, could get hot and significantly very sweaty going into these final games. All of these teams are starting to feel the pressure. Surely they know that every point from here could be significant or detrimental to their success. And again, the guys from Royal Academy have been doing a bang-up job of surviving, into the final phases of the couple of games that we've seen so far. But for how long will it last? 21st Century Pharaoh, you can see the bullets just trailing through, and yes, Pharaoh will be discovered, knocked away, and will be confirmed by Tokyo there. And that is what you call an ambush. It is just an unfortunate scenario, but it does happen. It's called a strategy. I'm pretty sure Pharaoh would be screaming in the mic right now, because that is just an unfortunate way to go out.
Yeah, it is super, super unfortunate. Also, another thing I just noticed is that we've got Jealousy just chilling out on the edge. Didn't make it into their slot on time, but either which way, they are there. They're going to be looking to maybe just keep their distance. You can see them all the way over on that eastern side, while the rest of the habitual team are moving in from that Hatin region. So we are seeing a little bit more of a convergence now heading in the direction of boot camp, but no one really kicking the fight off. We do also then have the Men of Blood and the side of EFX just creeping ever closer, but it is going to be the Royal Academy now to get spotted out as Ace has the trick up their sleeve. Going to be looking to pull out a few tricks here. Tokyo will not be drifting, maybe drifting back into the lobby. Who knows? We'll see where it goes. The rest of the team now having to try and close that gap and get their teammate back in the swing of things.
Tokyo is still knocked away on 21st Century. Knowing them, they will press the advantage. They will move inside, and they will get that confirmation. Power will be the choice of candidate this time around. That you can tell that they are upset that Pharaoh was sent back into the lobby, and it will be showing in Power's fists there, as he is going to get vengeance for his fallen comrade. And now it's one apiece for 21st Century and Royal Academy. But will they continue to engage each other, in this this particular area just outside of Kampong? It could smell disaster, for 21st Century. They've not necessarily had the best of games today, after that Miramar debacle, and the Eranjo game as well. They've been having a really, really tough time, in their performances so far. But I mean, this might be the game that, they get some points that boost them up. But again, it could get very, very tricky. The circle already closing out there. Invictus getting called out by the guys from Ultima Raid. This is going to be a very interesting engagement for them. They will not be backing down, but Sledge will spray. Snip is going to get knocked away. Surely confirmed, but Moon escapes. Just tried his best to escape from that position, but Rogue's Daddy will catch him. And just like that, things have turned on their head. Sledge, the last one up for the guys from Ultima Raid, the second place team. This is an unfortunate place for them to get eliminated, surely. But the revive's already coming through there, courtesy of Sledge. Slay will get picked up next, and Invictus creeping ever closer. And now, looks like it might just be evenly split between Invictus and Ultima Raid right here. Ultima Raid do not have any eliminations, but Invictus do. And this might just be the thing that separates these two teams.
Well, we'll find out soon enough where it is going to go. It's going to be Sledge cooking up the nades, trying to reach all the way over on towards Rogue's Daddy. But will it make the necessary place, though? Meanwhile, Moon getting a little bit outshone right there as they are just snuffing out first one trying to fight the play. They do get the head up onto Wood Sledge, but the rest of the team from Ultima not really being in a good position. And it's pretty interesting to see them not really looking to jump. But this opens up the opportunity for Invictus now to move in. Sledge biting the bullet. Up comes the rest of Ultima Rage. The shots continue to rain on through. Good body action now just doubles on down, but that is Rogue's Daddy. Now getting picked on up. Slay does fall in the meantime, and it's now all riding on the shoulders here of Phantom. Looking to see whether or not they can maintain this extra little bit of pressure here, but it is going to be a very tough play to secure. Also the players there from Ruthless bringing in their own contribution, reaching all the way from boot camp, but the jump shots with the DVS coming in. Will it be clutch? Will we see Phantom securing them themselves? The squad wipe. Snip just ducking down the hill, and the more time Phantom takes to get the action going, the more opportunity there is, of course, then for Invictus to get themselves back into good standing.
That is the plan coming in from Snip. You could tell from his movement, he was not trying to take the engagement. All he did was stall. He just needed to stall Phantom long enough, you know, for the rest of his team to become at full strength. And now they will make the advance. Phantom, will that DBS save him? Will he be silly enough to use the DBS to deal the damage onto the guys from Invictus? Most wanted to his left, and Rogue's Daddy to his right, pops the right shot, but it doesn't work, as Rogue Baby will steal the final shots there onto the guys from Ultimate Rage, and they will get swept away in 13th place. 0 points for the second place team. And Ruthless Esports this time around, hearing all the commotion, want to get a taste of it as Mystique pulls up to the scene as well. And this might just look like a very interesting position here, as Most Wanted is going to be knocked away.
Well, let's see where it goes now. There's going to be Asado just trying to see if there's an opportunity to Mystique. Of course, Rogue Daddy going to be trying to prevent any such things to come through. As Mystique now gets confirmed, it is the players here from Ruthless reduced down to a 3-piece. But Asado pretty isolated here, as we can see now. Invictus starting to move up. Rogue's Daddy partially getting spotted. The shots do connect on through, but it's going to be very, very dangerous. Oh! So close. Almost getting that finishing hit in. Meanwhile, the rest of Invictus coming into a little bit of a troubling play here as the shots connect in. Look at that DPS. Just clutching it out. Now it turns to Rogue Baby. Will we see that final hit and a clutch coming through here from the Asado as they now look to push up, regain a little bit of ground, but the third party plays are hot on their heels. EFX now sneaking into the swing of things.
That is the beauty of Sanhok. The moment you turn your back, the moment you fight just a little bit too long, the ops will be there to punish you. But Pikaboy will get the last laugh there. Invictus sent away. But they did bag a significant number of eliminations. But EFX now pull up to the scene. They want their own pound of flesh. But Reaver will be spotted by Saad. Knocked away beautifully with the M4. And Carl pops up just over the rock there. Signs a couple of shots towards Saad. But the return fire is going to be brilliant as well. I do not know if the revive onto Reverb will come through. It might just be worth the risk. The rotation to the right-hand side from EFX. They're trying to hold out. The smoke starting to come through. But Sully will be the next to fall. And Pikaboy doing a very a lot of work here. 4 eliminations to Pikaboy. EFX just trying to hold on for dear life there. They've already lost 1 player, and it might just be a very tricky scenario here for them to maintain this position there. But Reverb will get picked up, but Sully will be confirmed and make that 5 eliminations for Pikaboy DJ.
Well, but the teams are definitely stretching out the Sanhok, right? We're only in stage 3, but things are slowly moving along. Asado keeping a very steady angle, doesn't want to overexpose themselves just yet. But there we go. Pyro tries to step up. They get the hits in on towards Nabilo. And this is where it could still turn around in the favor of EFX. But we do see Reverb then getting spotted. Down they go. Pikaboy going to be trying to pick up the final good trades here as it's down to Carl and Pyro. But will they be able to hold on? We can see Afro also just slowly sneaking in on the distance there. But it's going to be Swags now meeting their end. Well, actually, as we know, Swags wasn't moving anywhere. They were AFK, so that's unfortunate. Well, meanwhile, Gen X moving up. Carl goes down. Pyro. Are they going to be able to survive this? Pikaboy holding steady. I love what we see coming through here from Ruthless. I mean, they stepped up over on Miramar. Now they're stepping up yet again as they venture into the jungle. But will they be ready to rumble, though?
Well, it's all a matter of who is going to take that initiative. Pika Boy just trying to gather intel, trying to find out where Pyro is. Pyro is aware of his position. The grenade might just do the trick, but it falls just a little bit too short. As a Sado on the right hand side, just trying to hold on. But now Pika Boy is definitely sure that Pyro is somewhere around this position, but Pyro is not moving a muscle. He's trying to use that element of surprise, and he does have that DBS in hand, and he might just do the trick. Pops a little bit of a warner there. Tries the first one. He is going to catch a Sado to the right hand side, and he is going to clutch them up. Pyro is the one who knocks. He knocks them away. Ruthless Esports fall victim to the DBS. Don't be silly.
You can't even script this, right? I mean, if you'd asked me, I would have said Pyro was going to be the next player to get shipped out. Instead, Pyro comes through with the clutch, just overpowering all the odds, managing to survive. And of course, now we sit with only 7 teams remaining, and it's going to be still quite a bit of fighting yet to come. We got the players from Gen X sitting on a full squad, Cyclone Shield sitting on a full squad, Habitual, as well as Apex, also still rocking all their members. But now it's going to come down to where this next shift is going to be taking them. I mean, Apex, again, looking to assert a really good amount of dominance in that center zone. It allows them, again, some great visibility, quite a bit of information gathering that can come through. And now with the shift, they still find themselves being included in that zone, and they can just continue to try and leverage the position they find themselves in.
Yeah, Apex making the right call, being in the center of the last zone, to just being in the best position for themselves on that little bit of that northeastern area of the circle there. So they will be holding out this position, at least coming into the next zone. But now Cyclone Shield are aware of that position as well. Danny Brown will be scoping inside. He does see a couple of players from Apex, so he knows for a fact the area they want to be rotating through. But now, unfortunately, the guys from UGX will be creeping in from that boot camp location. They just finished gathering whatever supplies that was left there, and I believe they are now ready to take any engagement, that comes their way. And now, this is the performance they've been looking for. They've already survived into the top 7, so for a fact that they are now currently sitting in 3rd place. Gen X has overtaken the guys from 03 based off of the placement points alone. They are now sitting at 110 points, which we're all aware, and I believe they've even topped up with a couple of eliminations across the board. But he will be spotted and knocked away by Danny Brown immediately, and he will be confirmed. Gen X in trouble once more, and this might just be the opening that Cyclone Shield have been looking for. They're up 5 eliminations, and I believe this is the beginning of something for the guy from Cyclone Shield. Yesterday, Cyclone Shield did win the Sanok game, so hopefully they're trying to do a little bit of a Sanok dominance thing, So let's look forward to that, and let's see if they can pull it off. 5 eliminations. Who's to say they can't do 10? Who's to say they can't do 15?
Well, I mean, 15 is going to be pretty tough, right? But let's see where they're going to be able to go. I mean, they do have some pretty good positions up in the north here. They do find Legend as well. Off they are. Danny Brown stepping up, looking to bring in a little bit of a carry here, potentially. But is this going to be the opportunity, right? Gen X down to 2 pieces. Is going to be Lynx and Freak trying to survive. Danny now start to take aim over on towards Apex. As you can see Moonlight just shining out from behind that rock, and it's just a matter of time. Based on the performance we are seeing, the momentum that Cyclone was building up here, this could be that opportunity. But meanwhile, there's going to be a Royal Academy now looking to go toe-to-toe here with Apex. And the Blue Zone is going to be forcing their hand on Lesson now, just trying to rip it up. They go ahead and ride out the storm. Those hit markers, finding quite a few of them, but also battling with the health bar being reduced as the Blue Zone is doing its thing. And it is looking absolutely problematic. Royal Academy and Apex losing quite a few of their players. Well, partially to the blue, but also due to this altercation. Let's see whether or not Best is able to find a few hits. Oh, yes, they do. And that is the end of the road. Royal Academy are done and dusted. 6 teams remain. But now, Apex only up to 2 eliminations.
Apex they need to do something more dominating, to clear the doubts of most of these teams, as the guys are from Gen X will not be relenting at all. They will send some shots towards Cyclone Shield. They will not rest. But 21st Century, just pulling in from the southern edge right there, might just be the opportunity they've been looking for to get some numbers on the board. Their next line of sight will be the guys from Habitual Gaming. And it looks like a top boy just a little bit towards the northern position from power there. He might decide to start to spray. He does have a little bit of play zone to work with, but the bullets just have to connect because the moment he pops right through, he will be discovered, and he has been discovered actually. Oh, that's a nice spray from power, but it doesn't connect. But he is going to do a fantastic job with the retaliation, and it will work this time around. Beautiful play from 21st Century. Ace, the MVP on the right-hand side, is going to connect the shots and connect the dots onto the guys from Habitual Gaming. They fall one at a time. The grenades will come out, sending power just behind. He has to reposition himself. Psycho and Death Fury, the last two up, just working hand in hand to rid themselves of the menace that is 21st Century. They're up 2 eliminations, and it looks like they might just be gunning for some extra, as Lynx will fall to the play zone. Gen X down to 1 player left.
Essentially, we only have 3 teams currently situated in the safe area. That is Habitual, 21st Century, and of course Apex, as we can see just off in the distance. But Apex holding on to some really phenomenal numbers here, as we can see them still sitting on a full squad. But where will it go? Because Habitual down to 2-piece is going to be Psycho and Death Fury. Now looking for the opportunities, the angles. They spot a bit of the smoke. But everyone now still needs to move into that next zone as it moved further up north. Apex already being positioned on the very verge. Moonlight doing their due diligence. Don't want to blindly just rush forward, offering themselves up on a bit of a platter here. But so far, so good. Meanwhile, Psycho does get spotted on down. It is going to be Death Fury, also pretty low on those health bars. And 21st Century are going to be looking to apply the pressure as they do advance forward. Baby now ducking into the smoke. Also trying to secure that foothold. But there we go. Kage comes in clutch. Ends their approach right there. And 8 now the final hopeful remaining for the side of 21st. Their Fury quickly try to snatch up that Elam, but they also then fall as their heat is on. The pressure is there. It's going to be Fireboy and the rest of the team here from Apex now looking to just claim the zone for themselves. Meanwhile, we see Pyro all the way out in the distance there, just going to be riding that blue storm. But it is going to be a very tough fight because they are contesting against the side there of Freak as well.
Ooh, Pyro doing a masterful job. We saw him do this yesterday as well, surviving onto the longest. 8 med kits left, and I believe Freak does have a couple of med kits to spare as well. The guys from Gen X, it's not a battle between Pyro and Freak right there, who is going to get consumed by the blue zone first, but it looks like Pyro might just be the one to survive the longest. I believe he has more meds to burn through, and it might just put them into second place. Beautiful performance, though, coming in from Apex, maintaining the numbers advantage, maintaining positional advantage, holding the zone by the throat. But Freak will be ready to, succumb to his fate, as the Plazo will claim him. And now Pyro knows, he's sure. I'm pretty sure he knows that he is in second place right now. But you can never be too sure for yourself. But 4 eliminations to EFX and a second place finish. I mean, that is not too bad. And Team Apex continue to stretch the numbers. And I believe with this performance, Apex have won the Fire's Easter Hunt, DK. I believe with this performance, they have sealed the deal.
Yeah, but what a play that was. I mean, Apex stepping in with such a phenomenal finish there, managing to just secure the numbers all the way to the finish. And that's the kind of approach that you want to play for, right? Especially looking at a map like Sanok, being sure that you've got those numbers to work off of moving into those later few stages. But it was a very tough play. You got to commend the players then coming through from Cyclone Shield as well, still being able to secure themselves those 6 eliminations, even though they could take it out in 6th place.
Exactly. Getting taken out in 6th place, it could get very demoralizing. But then most of the teams, that did play in this game got significantly a lot of engagement, coming in from active gaming right out of boot camp. We saw that jump shot from TQ, with the DBS against the DBS. He actually used an M4. It was very impressive, but after that, Ruthless just pulled up to the scene, started shooting, eliminated all of the players from Afro Esports immediately after they finished fighting in bootcamp. And right after that, Invictus pulled up as well, started shooting as well. And then what happened after that? EFX, Pyro, 1 versus 2 in the same area. All of this was happening bootcamp hill, just outside of bootcamp. All of these teams were fighting each other, And what was Team Apex doing? Staying in the center of the circle, waiting for that shift, because they knew for a fact all they need to do is win. All they need to do is win. The eliminations will come, but all they need to do is gather those 10 points and increase the lead between them and the second place team. Ultima Rage did do a fantastic job of holding out, but they did get blown away relatively earlier, than they would have wanted, and again, they paid the price for that. They got overly aggressive very, very quickly, and they paid the price for it,
Yeah, there's no arguing with that. There's a lot of facts now being spit here by Priest, as we did see, I wanted to say preach, but, we have to move on, unfortunately. We're going to have to take a look at our fourth game that is yet to come. That is going to be right back on Erangel, so be sure to stay tuned, and we'll see you guys right back after the break.
Yeah, no, you ain't no psycho. You're not like the others, no. No changing behaviors. Not sure how to act around you. So colorful and bright, yeah. I wanna be a 9 to 5. You made me come alive, babe. I wanna be the time of your life. Come change my life just for a while. Let's go for a ride now. Outside the club, we come alive. Let's go for a ride, yeah. I wanna get to know you. I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever. Don't care about nothing else. Making it happen, yeah. Cause you're a winner. I'm not gonna fall down. This ain't my final round. Hey, drinking Annie in the corner. I don't wanna be alone. Hey, sitting looking like a loser, but I don't wanna lose ya. Come change my life just for a while. Let's go for a ride now. Outside the club, we come alive. Let's go for a ride, yeah. I wanna get to know you. I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever. Don't care about nothing else. Come change my life for the better, yeah. Stay for a while or forever. Come change my life. Let's go for a ride. Outside the club, we come alive. Let's go for a ride, yeah. I wanna get to know you. I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever. Don't care about nothing else. Yeah, no, you ain't no psycho. You're not like the others, no. No changing behaviors. Not sure how to act around you. So colorful and bright, yeah. I wanna be a 9 to 5. You made me come alive, babe. I wanna be the time
Outside the club, we come alive, let's go for a ride, yeah. I wanna get to know you, I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever, don't care about nothing else. Making it happen, yeah, cause you're a winner. I'm not gonna fall down. This ain't my final round. Ay, drinking Annie in the corner. I don't wanna be alone. Ay, sitting looking like a loser, but I don't wanna lose ya. Come change my life just for a while. Let's go for a ride now. Outside the club, we come alive. Let's go for a ride. Yeah. I wanna get to know you. I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever, don't care about nothing else. Come change my life for the better, yeah. Stay for a while or forever. Come change my life, let's go for a ride. Outside the club, we come alive, let's go for a ride, yeah. I wanna get to know you, I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever, don't care about nothing else. Yeah, no, you ain't no psycho. You're not like the others, no. No changing behaviors. Not sure how to act around you. So colorful and bright, yeah. I wanna be a 9 to 5. You made me come alive, babe. I wanna be the time of your life. Come change my life just for a while. Let's go for a ride now. Outside the club, we come alive. Let's go for a ride, yeah. I wanna get to know you. I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever, don't care about nothing else. Making it happen, yeah, cause you're a winner. I'm not gonna fall down. This ain't my final round. Ay, drinking Annie in the corner. I don't wanna be alone. Sitting looking like a loser, but I don't wanna lose ya. Come change my life just for a while. Let's go for a ride now. Outside the club, we come alive. Let's go for a ride, yeah. I wanna get to know you. I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever, don't care about nothing else. Come change my life for the better, yeah. Stay for a while or forever. Come change my life, let's go for a ride. Outside the club, we come alive. Let's go for a ride, yeah. I wanna get to know you. I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever, don't care about nothing else. Yeah, no, you ain't no psycho. You're not like the others, no. No changing behaviors. Not sure how to act around you. So colorful and bright, yeah. I wanna be a 9 to 5. You made me come alive, babe. I wanna be the time of your life. Come change my life just for a while. Let's go for a ride now. Outside the club, we come alive. Let's go for a ride. Yeah. I wanna get to know you. I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever. Don't care about nothing else. Making it happen, yeah. Cause you're a winner. I'm not gonna fall down. This ain't my final round. Hey, drinking Annie in the corner. I don't wanna be alone. Hey, sitting looking like a loser, but I don't wanna lose ya. Come change my life just for a while. Let's go for a ride now. Outside the club, we come alive. Let's go for a ride. Yeah. I wanna get to know you. I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever. Don't care about nothing else. Come change my life for the better. Yeah. Stay for a while or forever. Come change my life. Let's go for a ride. Outside the club, we come alive. Let's go for a ride. Yeah. I wanna get to know you. I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever. Don't care about nothing else. Yeah, no, you ain't no psycho. You're not like the others, no. No changing behaviors. Not sure how to act around you. So colorful and bright, yeah. I wanna be a 9 to 5. You made me come alive, babe. I wanna be the time of your life. Come change my life just for a while. Let's go for a ride now. Outside the club, we come alive. Let's go for a ride. Yeah. I wanna get to know you. I don't wanna leave so soon. You and me forever, or maybe just for tonight. Do you wanna get to know me? I will give it all to you. You and me forever. Don't care about nothing else. Making it happen, yeah. Cause you're a winner. I'm not gonna fall down. This ain't my final round. Hey, drinking Annie in the corner.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. And the time has come. It's the final match and the final day right here in the Fire's Easter hunt. And we're going to be seeing these teams hunted out for that final winner chicken dinner, but also looking to see who's going to secure themselves those pole positions. So let's take a quick look at those overall standings. We know that Apex was sitting up at the top, and that is where they will remain, as Ultima Rage are still trying to close that gap. Gen X now still hot on their heels, but they've taken a lead, moving away from the O3 brothers, and Team EFX rather sneaking up behind them. So I think this final match is where a lot could change, right? I think there's quite a bit of contention coming through for that top 3 slot, right? 3 teams could be fighting it out. But of course, speaking about all the fighting, look at the flight path. This could allow for some great inevitable plays to come through.
Yes, the flight path is quite interesting. You know, we've been seeing a whole lot of south to north flight paths today. So this is a very quick change of pace for most of these teams, you know, all the way from the east maybe I would call that the Northwest, Zaki, Giorgio Poo. This would favor teams like Active, O3. This is the kind of fly path that they would like. It just right up their alleyway. So hopefully they will not be stressing themselves out just yet. But Yasnaya will be occupied. It looks like it might just be occupied by the guys from Invictus, and I believe Cyclone Shield. It might just get very, very tricky out there. But EFX and the rest of those teams that do love those interesting niche corners, there's a whole lot, that could be happening that northern area, 21st century this time around, and EFX. The violence is starting to brew here. It could go it could go sideways for any of these two teams. Now it's a 4 versus 4, and now the bullets are already starting to ring out. Baby will catch Solly mid-air, but will not be able to finish.
Yeah, well, let's see whether or not 21st are going to be able to get this one in the bag. I mean, as we've seen, EFX dropped on that opposite end, already finding themselves at a slight bit of a disadvantage. But you were talking about the niche corners, and the zone has taken a shift into one of the said niche corners, all the way down in towards that Sosnovka military island. So it's going to be a very challenging zone to play through. But in the meanwhile, 21st, EFX, both teams now picking up a knock on either side. 21st, the first team to lose a player. But let's see whether or not they could possibly look to bounce back from this position and maybe get the jump on towards EFX now.
Yes. It would be very interesting, though. 21st century did get the first couple of shots sent through, actually towards the guys from EFX and knocking, I believe that was Sully that got caught out, but he's going to be picked up. And the return from Pyro is going to be a confirmation instead, So EFX up 1 elimination. And it is unfortunately tricky here that we have 13 teams in the cut, though, DK. I was expecting the entirety of the team to at least see the final game to the end. But there are some teams, I believe they fell off a little bit too hard going into the final game. I think their wits must have given out for them. And so EFX will be hanging out just outside of here in Savannah. You talk about, where the zone is, all the way out there in the military base, and 21st century must be feeling so unlucky right now because that is their landing spot, but the fire was just not generous enough, and EFX will be taking the advance, over that position. Pyro's still outside, just trying to get an angle down to Power, waiting for him to peek outside one of those windows, and will proceed to spray him. Ooh. But Power actually will get the surprise onto Sully, as Sully gets knocked away, and now it's an even split. It's a 3 versus 3, and 21st century, this might just be the opening they've been looking for. But Power has to be careful. The grenades are already starting to come out. He might just be spotted there. He's been seen just outside of that right corner, and this might just be a beautiful grenade, but it explodes just in front of him. Power has to know that he has an idea of his general position. He is aware there, but he's not going to be safe. Baby pulls up from the right, knocks Pyro away, and now 21st century looks like this is the opening they've been looking for. Confirmation surely now from Baby, as the guys from 21st century just creep on a little bit. They will be hanging on. They've evened the playing field now.
Oh, come on. I mean, 21st. They just here. Baby just stepping up, bringing in such a phenomenal play, really avenging their fallen teammate, now evening out the odds. But EFX still in a little bit of a troubling position here, because you could see 21st really looking to leverage their advantage that they've got. You do see now EFX trying to spread it out. Oh, but they do find Power in the exchange. Ace, not quite sure where they are. Well, we do have Ace over on this end, as Carl slowly encroaches on that position. A great opportunity. Well-timed jump shot coming through here from Carl. Not succeeding in getting that knock just yet. But they are quickly looking to wrap around Baby. Meanwhile, trying to take on the full field. EFX, the trades get sent in both directions. But this could be it. This could be the final blade of the 21st century. EFX super low in the health bar. Great opportunity here for Baby, but all they got to do is keep their eyes right, keep that focus. Secures the knockdown coming in towards Carl. 1 down, 2 more to go. And the jump shot is going to be the one to close it out, and that is EFX just taking control of Savoni.
21. Can you do some for me? They did not do anything. They did, however, go out in 13th place, unfortunately, but they were able to squeeze out 2 eliminations from the guys from EFX. And speaking of squeezing out, there goes Ruthless Esports squeezed out by Ultimate Rage. And we talked about Ultimate Rage. They will not be letting this one go. And it is an unfortunate scenario for them here. They've got 4 eliminations to boot, and they are going to be maintaining that second place finish. They know for a fact that they will not allow, any of those teams that are chasing them from behind 0-3. And I believe, hold on. DK, where is 0-3? I looked towards Giorgio, but I did not see 0-3 brothers.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very, very, very good question. They are so good that, well, we don't see them. I don't think they've made it up into the lobby.
No way. Wow. Wow. Oh, no. Yep, you're right. They're not here. 0-3 brothers are not here. So basically, they did relinquish the potential 3rd place finish to the next man. They gave it away, unfortunately. I can only imagine what is going through their heads right now. I mean, they were just 9 points away, from I believe the guys from Gen X, but somehow they've fallen short, and this is not the way I was expecting them to go out. But unfortunately, it is what it is. The show must go on. Invictus being part of that show. They've already lost Sniff. And again, Rogue's Daddy just jumps out, hangs around a little bit too long there, but Manny will not allow him to rest. The violence continues though. Cyclone Shield just hot on their heels, one after the other, creeping inside of this building. Yasnaya is a very interesting place to be taking engagements though, because most of these teams, there's a whole lot of entry positions, jumping from window to window. But here comes Manny, pops a couple of shots towards Rogue's Daddy again, but Rogue's Daddy will climb a little bit higher up the stairs, pops the Molotov down just to keep them at bay. But Most Wanted will be snuffed out as well. Cyclone Shield up 2 eliminations. And it looks like their plans already coming into fruition. Invictus again getting caught out relatively very early. And it's all left to Rogue's Daddy and Rogue Baby. Imagine these two being the last 2 up. Rogue's Daddy and Rogue Baby. What are the odds?
Yeah, it's gonna be Rogue and Daddy now having to defend. Oh, but here we go. It is Daddy Brown getting taken down. Quick, a bit of vengeance coming through on that one as Manny swoops in, claims the totality of that. You got Roach and the rest of Cyclone still just going to be hanging around looking to kick up a bit of a storm here. Not quite sure if that's going to come through just yet. But this is now the opportunity for Rogue Baby to put a large move elsewhere, especially down to the zone, because they are still over 900 meters away from the next phase. So maybe look to prioritize that and then worry about.
I mean, the play zone it's never a wrong choice, to prioritize the zone every single time. Rogue Baby will be waiting there for Manny one of them to hop into that vehicle and just spray into the smoke. But as he sprays again, she is going to be spotted by a stone, and a couple of shots will be sent to her way again. And she will be confirmed this time, but I believe she was ready for that. I mean, I believe she had made up her mind that whatever will be in that scenario there. And what came through was the elimination from the guys from Cyclone Shield. They're up 4 eliminations now, and it will be time for them to navigate inside of that play zone. But military base zone, it could get very, very shaky, could get very, very tricky for most of these teams. It is all a matter of now, what is going to be going on those bridges.
Yep, that's where a lot of the focus is going to come through for the respective teams. But already, I mean, we see the players there from Gen X holding a really good position towards that western bridge. We look over on towards the eastern one. It's going to be the players here from Men of Blood now trying to push in Afro, gatekeeping them on the northern approach. But on that southern approach, it is going to be Ultima Rage just sitting in wait, looking to see who's going to come venturing across, daring the odds and trying to contest for that sort of knock on military island. Meanwhile, 11 gets zeroed out as a Peachy just connects up. Beautiful spray there. It's now down to the rest of the crew to see what they can do and maybe avenge their teammate, as Afro is also taking a few hits.
Yeah, Peachy was the one. He was moonlighting all the way on top of the building right there. He was spotted immediately and he was knocked away. But Creed as well will be spotted by Swags and he will fall as well. But fortunately for them, there's a lot of smokes coming out, and they do have they're a little bit huddled up in that position. But Afro Esports will press the advantage. Swags jumps right off the roof there, and he's ready for all the smoke towards the guys from Men of Blood. They're hanging out in that position. They're getting their numbers back up. 11 is finally going to pop a couple of utilities inside and get his health all the way back up. But again, Swags rotating left, right, and center, trying to get an angle there onto the guys from Men of Blood. They are holding out. Neo will be spotted and surely will be dropped away by 11. Their beautiful spray catches the first one, but Magic will fall as well. And will he take that revive? I do not think that would be plausible though. But Afro Esports closing in. Peachy now catches Rage and it's all left to 11. Afro Esports dealing so much damage here. He pops the grenade and from behind, Swags will jump out the window and eliminate the last player for Men of Blood. Afro Esports up 7 eliminations, but they did lose Hunter.
Well, what a phenomenal approach that was, though. Afro not going to be going down without a fight. Losing one player is not really going to deter them, as we've already seen them establish a very strong play already. 7 elims to their name. Now we are yet to see what EFX and Cyclone Shield are going to be doing, as they are also on the rotate. And if we look onto the woods, the western side is going to be the players now from the side of Active Gaming, making a mad dash, trying to get themselves secured. Apex following suit. There could be quite a bit of trouble just on the horizon, as both these teams need to advance forward. The first one there from Active Gaming is going to be rather taking the plunge. That's Beg Ho just rushing into the side there of Gen X, managing to escape relatively unscathed. But I'm not quite sure we can say the same here for TQ, as they are now getting chased down by the side of Apex.
What a bad time to get chased away. Here comes Fireboy, pops outside, tries to get a knock through, and he is going to catch TQ unaware, eliminates him immediately, and continues his journey back to the rest of his teammates. Active Gaming losing yet another player on the rotation there, but Gen X will be pulling up to this area here, trying to sniff out the last player from Active, but it is going to be Beko. They need to be careful though. Beko is a dangerous player, and there is a chance that he will eliminate one of them, but the spread is fantastic. But he is going to catch Freak, and I told you, that was so close there. It could have been curtains for Freak, but fortunately for him, his teammates were there to put a stop to the madness that was Active Gaming. They go out in 8th place. 7 teams left and 25 players alive.
I mean, some pretty quick reactions coming through from the side there of Gen X, but as we see, Apex yet to make the push for zone. EFX also now on the approach, about to enter that area. But Cyclone Shield just holding steady, waiting to see where this next phase is going to be taking them and whether or not it'll be worth all the hassle trying to push across that bridge. But if the zone does shift south, that is where Ultima Rage are going to find themselves absolutely blessed. They've got the advantage, they've got the positioning, and they've got a pretty secure angle, because there's not a lot of teams that are going to be contesting that position, at least not moving in from that southern side.
You're right, if the zone actually does shift all the way towards the south, it would favor, teams like Royal Academy and Ultima Rage the most, but again, Gen X will be holding out that little corner of the bridge still in that western area. The guys from Apex, the moment they decide to cross over, it could spell danger for them. They will be hanging out here for a little bit longer, but the play zone will be coming closer and closer. Might just squeeze them a little bit towards the central position of the next circle, but it's all a matter of what kind of game the guys from Gen X want to have. EFX is still in the cut though, and EFX was 10 points away from them going into this game. So, and EFX have scored a couple of eliminations to boot, so hopefully that will require a lot of concentration coming into the guys from Gen X. Yeah. And I think they were like 10 points away from Ultimate Rage. So there's a whole lot of work that they need to start doing, if they want to snatch the second place finish from the guys from Ultimate Rage.
Well, only time will reveal how all of this is going to play out. Meanwhile, EFX getting himself situated up on the shoreline. We can see the base here from Cyclone Shield now advancing in on Afro. Gets a bit of an opportunity on towards Swags. Quickly falls back in behind that hard coverage. Roach not really able to hit all the way across. But look at this. Afro not going to be backing out of this fight. Keep up that frontline contention. Swags taking a few hits, but Peachy and Neo keeping up the defenses as they now get ready to rush on through Peachy with a nade in hand. This could spell quite a bit of disaster now for Cyclone Shield as Peachy reaches in, tries to get that play. And this could be it. But let's see. Ooh, the nade gets sent across, finds those casualties. And this is where Cyclone Shield now needs to make a run for it. Roach trying to get all the way down the beach, very exposed, but taking an absolute ton of damage along the way.
Roach doing what he knows how to do best, and that is survive for Cyclone Shield. He makes it out of dodge just in time. And Afro Esports surviving this engagement, coming out by the skin of their teeth, however, with a beautiful grenade coming out from PG. He was able to catch, two players from Cyclone Shield. Stoner getting caught out there, and finally confirmed 10 eliminations to Afro Esports. Now, this is an interesting performance coming in from Afro Esports because from the looks of it, Afro Esports, with this kind of performance, they can hop into third place. If they can crack a chicken dinner here, they might be able to, hop into third place. But it's still a matter, of EFX, Gen X, what kind of performance they have. But Afro Esports are already on the right path. They're already on the right track, But Roach is here, 4 eliminations to Cyclone Shield. He might just start taking shots towards them from here, just to be a thorn in their side. But then again, it is still a matter of play zone importance. The play zone is already moving. He's like almost 500 meters away from it. He needs to start moving. It is phase 3, and the next phase will deal us significantly more damage.
No, 100% correct in saying that. But here we go. Of course, Royal Academy, pretty centered up position that they've got on this glorious Sosnovka military island. Meanwhile, Swags gonna fall victim to a little bit of that spray as Afro now try to send themselves further down south. But Swags now running out of swag as they get taken on down. It's gonna be down to Peachy and Neo to see what they can find. Maybe there could be a bit of a beautiful contingency plan coming through here from their end. Ultimate Rage just gonna be looking to solidify the dominance, especially on this bridge, really sitting up on those 5 eliminations. Are they going to be able to secure even more so? And I'm expecting Afro maybe to duck down into the drink to try and get themselves across this island.
I mean, that is one way to look at it. I mean, that is a strategy that could work, I mean, the bridge is a very tricky place to get caught out on. There is no safety the moment you get shot out of your vehicle, or you definitely can't cross the bridge on foot, but again, there's so much interesting strategies that most teams use to navigate the bridge. Again, UGX catching a whiff of the guys from the Apex. I believe that is Fireboy that has been snuffed out, and now Gen X are starting to move advance one after the other. Cargate, the next one to fall, one after the other. Team Apex starting to lose numbers, but Blessing will get out of dodge. He knows how dangerous this could get for him, and he would make the wise choice to move out. Moonlight will be spotted as well. Blessing down to about 10 HP, and this might just spell curtains for the guys from Team Apex, but Blessing will get out of dodge in time, but True will catch him, and Team Apex will get swept away in 6th place. Gen X will have all the eliminations.
Wow. I mean, who would have thought, right? Who would have thought that was how it's all going to play out here, especially looking at the southern zone? And I mean, Gen X now finding themselves yet again in such a phenomenal position. They got the Royal Academy just on the opposite end. Both teams going toe-to-toe, looking for that opportunity. Royal Academy not finding a single elimination so far, but this could be a potential chance now for that to come through. But they are going up against Gen X, and I don't think it is going to be a very easy task to accomplish. Meanwhile, Lynx, Freak, getting ready for the charge, just prepping themselves up in anticipation of a bit of carnage to come through.
Yes, positional awareness is always a key factor when taking your engagement, so you know that for a fact. But Royal Academy in serious trouble right now as Freak is going to toss a beautiful grenade on through, but a spray from Lyrad will catch him down, and he will be confirmed almost immediately there. But the angled position coming in from the guys from Gen X is beautiful there. The spray from True will connect to Tokyo, but it's not enough to knock him away. Lynx is still bleeding out there. The guys from Gen X are scrambling around, trying to get their numbers all the way back up, but the advance on Tokyo might just start to work right through, using the buggy to scour through, gather some intel. And Royal Academy looking very, very strong. By the second, Lyra pulls up again, gets a knock onto Lynx this time around, and another one falls through. Legend finally sent back into the lobby. UGX crumbling, one after the other, and I believe that will be curtains for the guys from Gen X. They have been knocked away by Royal Academy. The third place team actually is going to be going out in 5th place, and I believe they did get 4 eliminations in that engagement, so I believe they've done just enough to maintain their 3rd place finish.
Well, let's see if they'll be able to do exactly that. EFX now still going to be holding on to a very challenging spread here. Only 2 players remain, Reverb and Sully. But Ultima Rage on the look once again, turning their attention onto the side there of Afros. We can see Neo now just getting run over as the first one falls. Now it's down to Peachy. It's going to be a very troubling play. See whether or not Afro can survive it all the way to the very finish. Royal Academy going to be pushing in from that southern side, looking to play a bit of a 3-1 position. Tokyo gathering as much information as they can, but Revo keeping their head on a swivel, looking all which ways. Spots out the advances. You can see now this is the opportunity. Aaron could maybe get spotted, have quite a bit of damage dealt their way, but first EFX will look to maybe prioritize Ultima Rage's advance.
EFX have been enjoying themselves in this area, nobody contesting, but Afro Esports Peachy will be spotted and discovered there with a beautiful grenade from Ultimate Rage, and that will be the end of Afro Esports going out there in 4th place, but they did manage to squeeze out 10 eliminations, and that will do a fantastic job for their resume going into the final game of Fire's Easter Hunt finale. But ladies and gentlemen, we are now with 3 teams left, 10 players in the cut. Ultimate Rage looking like the strongest team right now as they are advancing just inside. Reverb will be spotted by Smoke and knocked away almost immediately there, and it's all left to Sully. EFX crumbling one after the other. Sully down to about 40 HP, but I believe he is in the grass. Has not been spotted by the guys from Ultima Rage. The Royal Academy will be making their rotation around, and a couple of sprays from Tokyo there. Just a little bit of a warning to a Slay, but he is going to be driving around looking for intel. Reverb finally confirmed by Eren. And now it's all left to Sully, just hanging around the trees, using it for cover there, spraying a little bit to a Slay as he drives past, but it's not enough to do much of anything, but he will be run over. Beautiful driving from Slay as he's using a vehicle to slay.
Oh yes, you know that is just the way to go. But now this opens up the opportunity here for the rest of Ultima Rage to just solidify their positioning. I mean, Royal Academy still holding on to their own 4B, so there's going to be 2 full squads duking it out for that winner chicken dinner. But the first few hits now finding their way into the side there of Royal Academy. Slay just lurking all over the place, trying to figure out what that approach is going to be. This is where I'm not too phased about Ultima Rage, because even though they don't have the most secure position moving into the zone, they still have quite a bit of the rich access here. As we can see, Slay now just sneaking on through. It's the 4v4 as they look to clutch it out, but there we go. Slay getting spotted, down they go. Ultima down to a 3-piece. Moon also trying that same vehicle trick, sneaking their way on forward. But Royal Academy not going to allow any of that as the shots come through, and Ultima Rage secures themselves the final winner with a chicken dinner, doing so with 12 eliminations to their name.
Ooh, 12 eliminations to the guys from Ultima Rage. Now that is a way to finish, 22 points, I believe. Just shy, just a little bit shy of that first place. But they did do a fantastic job of maintaining that second place and not falling off. So beautiful work coming in from Ultimate Rage. But Royal Academy going out swinging as well in second place with 6 eliminations. And EFX doing just well enough, to overthrow the guys from O3. And I believe this performance puts them just shy, of third place. But unfortunately, I don't think this is enough for them to overtake the guys from Gen X, because Gen X did manage to get themselves 5 eliminations in fifth place. Afro Esports, the only team here, outside of the top 3 that was able to finish with a double-digit finish, 10 eliminations to them. A bang-up job actually. A beautiful, beautiful finish coming in from these teams. But ladies and gentlemen, and that was a beautiful performance coming in from Ultima Rage, taking the final chicken dinner of the night.
Yeah, I mean, what a performance that was. The only thing that's left to see now is whether or not Ultima Rage were able to close that gap moving on towards Apex. But as you've mentioned, right, Apex securing themselves that 6th place finish, also enabling 1 elimination along the way. So still a valiant effort being brought through. Not the craziest run that we've seen comes from the side of Apex, but still looking to defend that title. But then Gen X also just really trying so hard to try and play a little bit of that catch-up game, only managing 4 eliminations all the way in 5th place. So it was a bit of a tough run. So it might be safe to say that Ultima Rage has essentially secured them a spot within that top 2. We don't know exactly where it is, but we'll have to wait for those results to come out. Of course, now Priest, I mean, absolutely phenomenal showing that we've had, right? The first game on fire, moving over in towards Murmur, they up the ante. Moving into Sanok, they up the ante even more so, securing a 15 elimination chicken dinner, 15 plus elimination chicken dinner. I think that was in game number 2, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, what a play this has been. This final Erangel, I love it when these zones move down south. When it moves up into Sosnovka, I mean, it's just absolute carnage that is to follow.
You know, the play zone, when it makes all of these moves, it would have been fun to have this in game 1. It would have been way more fun, to have this in game 1, this kind of a play zone in game where all the teams were inside of the game. In this final game, I think we got about 13 teams in the cut right there, and it was just a little bit shy of more violence, and all of those rotations across the bridge, it got very, very tricky going towards the end, of the game. But Ultima Rage did hold their own down. Afro Esports did have a fantastic game today, though. After the showing in Miramar, just like you talked about, the game 2 where they got 15 eliminations and the chicken dinner to boot, that put them into the top 8, and then they do another double-digit finish, here, finishing out. I believe they finished somewhere in 4th, 5th place, but they did have 10 eliminations to boot as well. So yes, I mean, if we had one more day, maybe Afro Esports would have just cracked, 3 or something. But unfortunately, we do not have one more day. But ladies and gentlemen, the leaderboards are here. Let us take a look and let us congratulate the number 1 team for Fire's Easter Hunt, Team Apex. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Moonlight, Kage, Fireboy, and Blessing. The players for Team Apex doing a bang-up job of getting themselves 5 chicken dinners out of 16. And I talked about this during the break, DK. Winning.
Yeah.
They were winning, Apex, their strategy for this final was winning. If you take a look across the leaderboard, you would see Team Apex is the only team where their placement points is more than the eliminations. It is more. Yeah. It is more. And that tells you what? It is the strategy they came with. They did not necessarily actively go out looking for teams to eliminate. You know, what they did was put themselves into positions that would give them very strong placement points, but they would also be able to eliminate teams on rotation. You know, we saw this in the Sanok game today. This was a typical strategy, you know, that Apex put through. You know, it was a typical performance that Team Apex put through. When you exactly where you talked about them in the Sanok game, they went the center of the circle, and then the circle moved. You know, just as you mentioned them, they had no eliminations then, but they had all of their players up and a lot of terrain in Sanok to work with, and and they were able to bag the chicken dinner again. Another chicken dinner, 5 chicken dinners out of 16. That tells you in every 5 games, Apex will win 1. That was the strategy.
Well, either that or in one day in particular, they take all the chickens, right? All 4 games, that's them, and the start of the next day.
Why would
Right?
you have to phrase it like that?
Whichever way, I mean, a flex is a flex, right? 5 chickens is nothing to shy away from. So an absolutely phenomenal performance coming through from Apex. I also think they chose a very fitting name because, well, they were the Apex when it came to those points. So what a performance. Well done. Big congratulations going out to them. But also got to commend the players coming through from Afro, right? Because they really brought it in. I mean, even looking at the performance they had in this last game where they finished in 4th place with 11 eliminations to their name, an absolutely phenomenal play, and that is the kind of stuff that we want to see, right? We want to see the region really increasing everything as they move on forward and just stepping up what they are capable of. Because as we've seen, right, looking into PMPLs, looking into the PMCOs, there is a specific level of gameplay that these teams need to achieve, right? Now, if they want to reach that, they're going to have to be able to perform at those levels. So this is phenomenal to see the teams really starting to up the ante and getting themselves just that much closer to being able to contend on that level.
Yes, you know, the PMCOs, the PMPLs, that is where all of these teams are dreaming to get to. And hopefully we will be seeing Team Apex crossing those areas sooner rather than later. Ultimate Rage and Gen X, congratulations to them as well. They will be walking away, you know, with a little bit of that prize pool money as well. But let's not forget the MVP also has something to work with. I don't know who the MVP is going to be, though. You know, it could get tricky, but I think probably Moon or Slay from Ultimate Rage. I think
maybe Peachy even. I'd throw Peachy into the mix. Yeah. I mean, especially based on today's performance. Peachy was really stepping it up. So
yeah, I can see that. I can see that as well. You know, but ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the stream. Do not forget to also follow Fire on all social media platforms, as you can see. Tap right in and you will see the MVP once it is posted if you do follow the social media platforms. But it is still your boy Priest, and I have had fun with my main man DK here. I've been laughing all night. I have had so much fun. It is the finals, and this is us signing out. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Happy Easter, guys. Enjoy your holidays. Don't do something I wouldn't do. And I don't know, DK, how far you have burger there now? Send some burgers my way. DK has been eating Burger King this entire time, and he didn't even offer me nothing, man. DK, that's not life, man. That's not life.
I'll give you some chips. You want some chips? I saved them. You say all of that. You make me sound so mean, but I saved you the chips.
DK, that's a lot of chips, though. That's a lot of chips. How do you even eat? How do you eat so many chips, man? That's a lot of chips, man.
Easy, they just go in here. I need it. But yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would add on to what you said is like when you said don't do something, don't do something I wouldn't. If you do, take pictures, but don't share it. But yeah, on that one, thank you so much for everyone for joining in. We hope you guys had an absolutely phenomenal time with these teams. And we look forward to seeing you in the next one. So until then, stay fresh, stay frosty, and we'll see you all later.